Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and also welcome to the Hallowed platform this wonderful afternoon as we're about to discuss on our Biafra issue and what we need to do at this 21st century, despite all that is happening around us. The thing is that when you look at the intimidation that people are facing this time around, it may also trigger us to ask them, this their new 2025 law, is it something that will wipe away the entire indigenous before they will answer? Is one of the main important questions that I myself always ask. Waiting for UN and all their laws and all their new laws, are they going to hold on until the entire entity wipe away, or something that they will see what people are passing through and what people are going through, so they can intervene on what people are passing through and what people are going on? Because the issue of Biafra is totally above every other history story in this world. Our issue is bigger. It's a history that well known to the entire world in this 21st century that we are into. We have a very bigger history. We have a very bigger one that the entire world knows about us. Yes, we have agreed that it's all about peaceful declaration. Now that the people of Biafra has met their declaration, their peaceful declaration on November 29, 2024, in Helsinki, Finland, with government in exile, that the UN, EU, and the AU approve. The question that we're asking is this: for how many years or for how many of us do you want us to be alive that this your law will favor us? Because what is going on in old Eastern region, in the Biafran territory, the intimidation, the harassment, the inhuman treatment, the abuse of rights, the military killing the indigenous people anyhow, arresting them anyhow, both those on the culture, both those on the serving their ancestors. Because all this that is happening is why we are asking. We know that, yes, after peaceful declaration, that it takes a while. But one thing that they must come into the minds of the UN is this. The question that never got an answer is why that the self-determination is not for a black man? Why it's not for Biafran people? Is always the question now, because with what we are seeing and what UN, what all of you knows about Biafran people, by now need to sanction Nigeria. And now it has proven to the world that Nigeria is a safe haven where the bandits, the ICC, all the terrorist group in the world want to come together in the name of the Islamization to attack even America tomorrow, to attack even UN tomorrow, to attack every country in the world tomorrow. Now that Nigeria has proven that this is who they are, what are you still waiting for the indigenous people? Well, for me, I may take it that for the first time ever in this lifetime, after the Biafra Genocide War, 1967, 1970, that this was only the first time we got it right by our peaceful declaration. On the mandate of the peaceful declaration, that we as the Biafran people, that we have achieved this particular mandate. The other thing we are doing, we are asking the world is that they need to look into our matter. The Biafran calling or the Biafran nation is not a new thing. It's not just like something that just started in this 21st century. In all the colonial border eras that was existing, it's only Nigeria still remain on the era of what? Of the colonial powers, of the colonial artificial borders that was being the country that was being created by mistake. Now that we have found a way to correct the mistake, and we're asking the world to correct a mistake, when a mistake is being corrected, then the people will stop dying. The artificial border of the colonial era by Britain, other in many African countries, is no longer existing. Why is that the only place this colonial era is existing is in Nigeria? And if you look at what is going on in Nigeria, you will see. When Britain was leaving India, they handed India over to America. They handed India over to America. So India was the one that finally free and made India. Sorry, US was the one that made India what they are today. But look at our own case. They handed us over to the Fulani Caliphate, the jihadist movement. That is why in all the entire colonial era border, artificial border that was being created by colonial masters, it's only in Nigeria that this colonial border, artificial border still existed today. In the world, no other place in the world. That is why many of the countries that was being amalgamated or that was being under the Great Britain or Portugal or Netherlands or any country or even Spain, they have existed, and some of those countries has break into two different countries. No matter what happened today. Why is that the Biafran quest is not what even though the discussion is too poor? With all that happened in Nigeria today, did anybody needed an excuse or any more details or explanation that Nigeria is not working? When you sit down and look at what we are passing through today, after our peaceful declaration, the world supposed to immediately grab us, give recognition like the world they did to people of Namibia. Because you make us understand that in the history of country like Namibia, fighting to leave South Africa, you made us to understand that because of they have suffered so much, their government has been in exile for many decades. And also that before their declaration, that their matter has reached your office. So are you telling us, the people of Biafra, people of United States of Biafra, that our matter has never gotten to your office before our peaceful declaration? We have proven to you that we are peace-loving, abiding citizens. And in the history of this world, democracy started from Igbo lineage, from the Biafran territory. Every country in the world knows that in the history, as the oldest in the Igbo, that we are from us is where this world democracy started from. We are the one that initiated democracy to this world. And all the criteria that you ask us to meet for us to be a country, the people of the United States of Biafra, we have met all these criteria. We have proved to the world that we are very industrious people, that we are peace-abiding law people, that we are that people who knows, who love one another, that we are that people who believe in love and who believe to respect one another. We are not a violence type. If the Biafran people are violence type, like what is happening in the north, then you will come with your armor tanker. You will come with your helicopter. You will come with your anti-craft helicopter to come and bomb us. But because of we are quiet, we are moving to prove to the world that we organize ourselves, that we value life, that we hate inhuman treatment, we hate abuse of right, we hate intimidation, that we want everybody to be free. That is what we are proving to the world. Ghana Shilo, thank you so much. Anu Ugochukwu, thank you so much. Bishop, thank you so much. Eric Colin, thank you so much. Please, as you join me, please, may you like and share the program. So, we are proving to the world that we are very nice, obedient people. Now, we understand the rules of this 21st century, that we are people that love their people, that we value life and we value human rights. These are the areas that we want the world to look into. There is many disappearance of our people. In Ebonyi State, over 30-something people was arrested and through Nigerian government put in prison for nothing. In Enugu State, a man who served his culture was taken away. The disappearance of the Biafran people has become unaccepted in our mind. Now that we have obeyed the law, and people are turning their face on us, and you are the one who said that under remedial section, that when people face abduction, genocide, inhuman treatment, abuse of rights, killing, denial of positions in politics, in geopolitics, that the only option they have is through self-remedial determination to save their life by having or forming their own country. So now that it has gotten to that level, that the only option we have, or what our forefathers saw in 1967 to 1970, why we exit Nigeria then, why Ojukwu planned to exit Nigeria through this declaration that Nigeria was the first who attacked us on the self-determination, we have to defend ourselves, and it now reacts, metamorphose the issue of Biafran war. That is why we are letting the world to know. We have what it takes to march. We can do it by ourselves. But because of we don't want it to be like we have, or we are not abiding people. Now that Nigeria is pushing us to the wall, Nigeria is pushing us, holding us on our neck. When we retaliated again under self-determination, I hope you will not come to implement Sharia law. I hope you will not use sanctions to buy us away, like your laws proving. That is why we are begging, we are apologizing. We are saying a prayers to all of you, to UN, EU, AU, to understand that we have met those criteria that you want us to. And now that we have met it, we are not going to relent. We are not going to panic. So we are calling the world to adhere to their law, to allow Biafran people to support, to give us recognition, so we can defend ourselves properly, and we can exit from that. We are in our mind. There is no need forcing us to say when our mind is not. Our mind has edited Nigeria, even our body also. Today is Moses at home, Biafran is at home going on, which is our own self-referendum. We have agreed and tried to educate myself on your law that the only way of a new country that you will organize is through peaceful declaration, through a government in exile. We have done that. We have done that on November 29, 2024. We have re-declared United States of Biafra as our own nation. We are not going to take any excuse or any chances. Now that we are calling the world, now everything that is happening is in social media. It's high time that reason that makes you to choose peaceful declaration as the only way in this 21st century to have a new nation in every part of the world. That's now that we have met those criteria. What are those things? And all the whole things you ask us as a criteria under your Geneva Convention, under your Vienna Convention, under Montevideo Convention, under UN Charter, we have met all the criteria. Under the rules of AU, African Charter, the Biafran people has met this criteria. Or do you want what happened in 1967 to 1970 happen again? That is why Awogendu said, if you miss going to war, that will you go. We are tired of one mistake that a white man called Frederick Lugard made. We are tired of this mistake name called Nigeria that simply means a death sentence to every indigenous people. Look at the level of raping. Look at the level of buying people. Look at the level of kidnapping. So the world, you don't know what we end this is only Biafra as a country. We end it in Nigeria. That's Biafra exit and many, that's over 4 nations must exit from Nigeria. Over 3 must exit from Nigeria. People of Biafra, we exit. We already exit Nigeria. What they do like it on they must, if they don't exit on their own business, how they want to find their way out? We can't be subdued because of others. We can't be staying in Nigeria because of when we exist that others, people of Benue will suffer. The Christians. So let them do their own part as we are doing our own part. Before it gets out of hand for the second time again. You know that after our declaration, we met a peaceful declaration of the declaration of the Biafra as a country. So on that note, and which is your law, that we have stand on the existing protocol. We have stand on your protocol. We have stand on your template since after our declaration. That is why we are calling on all of you that your new law is fine. But is it for a black man really? Your new law really, is it for the people of Biafra? So, please, the world, listen to the call or view the document that reached your office, UN, EU, Commonwealth, and the AU. View this document and understand that the solution of you as a member of UN to be saved is Biafra out of Nigeria. what is about to come. We cannot wait. And we will not listen. We are not going to take any instruction from anybody. That is why we are calling on all of you to understand that the people of Biafra, that the people of United States of Biafra has met all the criteria, waiting for one thing, international recognition from the UN and the Council of the UN, the Council of Security of the UN, or Security Council. We don't want when we start, because we must end it. We have give you peace. Return that peace through recognition from us to us, because we are equal to the task, but we drop it for now to obey your law, your constitution, and things you told us to do. For the people of Biafra, on the issue of what we are passing through today, the question might be, according to my headline, why did the UN, EU, why did the UN, why did the UN, EU, AU shift to 21st century to have a new nation, peace declaration, 20th century's military? The question is, why do they abandon the military? Why? Why do they not need military again? UN, EU, AU, they shift towards peaceful declaration and away from military. Isn't just a trend, it is a fundamental design on how the world works in the 21st century. UN, EU, AU changes their approach because they realized that in a global world, military victory does not create a state, does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Yes, when it's happened, time of military regime, time of using it to build a nation, yes, what you said is true. Now that people has embraced the one that you want, that is not going to be hurting everybody, that is peaceful declaration. Now that people of the United States of Biafra that was declared on November the 29th, 2024, now that we have declared it, now that we have believed in this peaceful declaration that is not going to hurt anyone, why did so much wasting time? We have accepted and we have proved it. Then what next is the question. What next do you want us to do? What next is your plan? Or you want us to be facing this intimidation? We don't want to believe that all of you still believe in that mindset of the UN, in that mindset of British, that because of oil, that we should have our own country. And if you went back to check in the history, all the countries that has oil that was amalgamated or was under colonial era, all has freed themselves today. They are no longer under any colonial border or any colonial era. It's only the people of Biafra. That is why we are begging, please, please, sir. Now that we have abided by the law of the 21st century, please grant us recognition. Support us. Ask Nigeria to leave. Join us. The only thing we want from you is what? Our just recognition to support our peaceful declaration. That is all we needed. Chukwuemeka Odumegwu will suffer for this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, incarceration by the Nigerian government, life imprisonment. Simon Ekpa, the prime minister, 6 years. And many Biafrans, as of this February, between 18th, 19th, 20, 22, 23, many people has been taken away from their home. Or to the extent of going into a community, take away 35 people. And the one family, 4 members of the family was being taken away. What is their crime? They are Biafrans. Because of their belief in their declaration. Look at legitimized Soludo in Old Anambra, intimidating our people that he did not give honor to open their market for. There is no self-determination in Nigeria. And the UN, you said, sorry, not UN, British said that when it comes to the issue of self-determination, when there was amalgamation in Nigeria, that the self-determination did not include in Old Eastern region. So for all of you to keep silent, UN, EU, it simply means that you supported that idea of the Great Britain, of this evil Britain, that are not great. Answer great for mouth. The British in question, the UK, the London, the England, when they amalgamated Nigeria, said that the self-determination is not for us. Imagine such a word, and you are there. That is why when we say that Nigeria is a mistake country, and the white man that created know that this is a mistake. So we are asking for Nigeria to exit Biafra land peacefully. That is why we believe in our peaceful declaration. That is why we believe in our peaceful declaration. That is why we are calling the world to listen, to pay attention, to do the right thing. Remember what we passed through in the 1967 to 1970. We can't go through that again. We have waited for long years, over decades also. So if Namibia waited for decades in the hands of South Africa, the same that people of Biafra has waited for so long in the hands of Nigeria. And there is nothing you can do for us to be one, because we are not one people. On your own case, in your laws, we have agreed. That is why we choose the option of peaceful declaration. That is why you are no longer seeing the military of the Biafran people in social media. The USB military is not in social media. The military of the country is not. But we are also using your law to educate ourselves on the issue of proving to the world, to proving to Biafrans, look at the way that you want us to go. And that is the way we are going on. So, we want to go into today's program properly on the issue of the UN. We have sent message, even the minority, to you. But we have put our mindset out and what we believe out to you. So, Mommy Margaret, I can see, thank you so much. Good afternoon from here. So, let us see. Why did the UN, AU, EU, all the world powers changes the law of having a new nation? Why did they change this law of having a new nation? Is what we want to ask. And why did they change it in the first place? If changing it means spying the people, it's the same under the same colonial master era, under the military power. Because Nigeria is only showing the military power in the land of Biafran people. That is why everyone was militarized. Go to north, we had the genocide, the killing, the kidnapping, the raping is going on. The genocide is going on in the north. There is no military on the road. There is no armor tanker on the road. It's only in our own state, in our own nation. It's where we are experiencing this. And you said you give us law to prove, to follow. We are following the law. Nigeria is the one who is finding us to come. We never went to Nigeria territory to fight them, but they're always in our own territory. But let us tell our people why you people shifted from that. You don't longer use, you said you don't want military. We agreed. But could that be a trap of another intimidation? or another to deny us our right. Why that this your right, when it's called the people of Biafra, that this your right is not working fast like the way it works for Europe, the way it works like a white people. When it's come to the white, the law works very fast. When it's come to the people of Biafra, the law is not working very fast. We are warning. Now that we have a government, we want you to treat us the way you treated America. It took them only a year and 6 months after their declaration for them to become a member of the UN and get international recognition. What is holding you on our own case? My people, let us first, on this our first a year plus 2 years, our declaration, hold by the law of the UN. Let's hold on the law on the EU. Let's put our hand on the law of the AU. Let us use it to embrace the movement. Let us use it to achieve our country. Let us be working towards that for the first time. At a time will come when the silence is going to make us to change. And that time, we will have evidence on our hand. That is why I believe this time around that the best option is to follow them. James Chigozie, it's been long. Where have you been? Hope you are good. Thank you so much for coming today. You were a brother also, always checking out, but for some time, we have never seen you. That's why we ask, where have you been, brother? Where have you been? The program we are facing right now is, why did the UN, EU, AU shift for having a new nation that it must be only one way, which is peaceful declaration, no longer showing power of military? That is the area we are going. So listen to this.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force isn't just a trend, it is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century. The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country, it only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation. 1. The shift from might to right, R2P. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the Responsibility to Protect, R2P. The new rule: sovereignty is no longer a right, it is a responsibility. The impact: if a group takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them. 2. The anti-coup norm, the AU's Lome Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Lome Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why? Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa. The AU decided that any group taking power by a gun would be automatically suspended from the Union. The result: this forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct military junta-style rule. 3. Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade. The weaponization of recognition: world powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group, they just need to refuse to recognize their signature. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. Military force captures the dirt, but a peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison: old versus new recognition. Feature: 20th century, military focus. 21st century, political focus. Mean goal: control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool: guerrilla warfare / tanks. Peace declarations, UN lobbying. Worldview: victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels: become the new government. Labeled as terrorists, or spoilers. 4. Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. By requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis. Summary. Why the signature won. The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole, where aid money disappears. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources. Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
We are calling the UN, EU, AU, look at what you want us to do and what you're supposed to do. We, as the people of United States of Biafra, we have done our part. It remains your part because we believe that you are doing the right thing in this 21st century. We are watching you the way you are watching us. Your silence might trigger us to go the other way around, and the blame should be on all of you. You have given examples why you changed to 21st century laws that guides the people that are looking for, the people that want a new nation, outright a new nation, like the people of United States of Biafra. We want our nation, Biafra, which is not new. The only thing that we did is what? That we declare the old one, we rebranch, we paint it to become brand new. We are not violence people. We are not violence type. But if the only option at last you give us is violence, we have an option to go towards that. But in this first 21st century, we want to be that first country ever that used peaceful declaration. After that, we obey the law by leaving anything armed struggle. That we do not believe that a organization or a nation should be created, under military power, like you said. And we don't want you to sanction us. We don't want you to see our military as those names you give. That is why the Biafra military today are not doing what. But they must defend our life when it's come to self-defense, because the rules of the self-defense it is. If somebody use gun to come to your house, use gun and face him. If somebody use machete to come to your room, use machete to face him. If that person use bottle or arrow to come, you must do the same thing. Where it was against it, when that person come with empty hand, you come with gun. So Nigeria is coming with our hand to kill all the innocent Biafran without gun, without machete, is a crime under your law. When are you going to sanction Nigeria? When are you going to put Nigeria where you put South Africa in the case of people of Namibia? When? When? We are asking questions. But on our program today is to educate myself and the Biafran people that in 21st century, what my brother Butos and Gentle is doing is not the way. I mean no insults. I mean no harm. I mean in a coded language, in a peaceful atmosphere, that no one, that we are born to make mistakes, but we are born to learn from our mistake and move forward. UN, EU, AU has learned from their mistake. They move forward. They move forward to 21st century to change the narrative of military conquest into a peaceful declaration that people will not be hurt. Now, that the people of Biafra has accepted this law of 21st century, and Nigerian government are still hurting our people, still taking our people away from us, still doing all manner of evil to us. Are you not seeing? If you are seeing, when do you want to answer us? Remember that a long time waiting might turn into violence. From 1967 to 1970 to 2026, we have been waiting. But let us take it openly that the only first time after the Biafran War that we have got it right was starting from November the 29, 2024. November 29, 2024, in our peaceful declaration, was the only time ever that we have come to a timeline of this criteria of the UN and the EU or AU from Africa, African Union. This is the only time that we have come to the world. Now that we have come to what the area that you want us to stay or want us to be, what is we're not going to take is over long due of waiting, because our people are going down by Nigerian government every blessed day. We are not one people, and we will never. If Chukwuemeka after the genocide war, and today, people are stand strong. Mazen Kano is in prison because of Biafra. Simon is in prison, and the many Biafrans that have been taken away, and those that aspire continuously pushing through the government in exile. That is when you will know that this is in ideology, this is in our blood. It's not just a mere talk. Remember, when the left hand watches the right hand watches the left hand, that is where we are. That is where we are holding EU, UN, and the AU, US, Israel, Russia, Germany, Netherlands, Australia, Austria, and all the countries that are the world powers. That we, as people of Biafra, is calling on you to allow us to go. Do not waste time to answer our prayer, because we have prayed for a very long time. Please, we listen to it once again before we go into our analysis. So you can, on the comment section, comment based on what you understand they want us to do, or you can comment that this what they want us to do, that we have done that.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force isn't just a trend, it is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century. The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation. 1. The shift from might to right, R2P. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the Responsibility to Protect, R2P. The new rule: sovereignty is no longer a right, it is a responsibility. The impact: if a group takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them. 2. The anti-coup norm, the AU's Lome Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Lome Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why? Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa. The AU decided that any group taking power by a gun would be automatically suspended from the Union. The result: this forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct military junta-style rule. 3. Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade. The weaponization of recognition: world powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group, they just need to refuse to recognize their signature. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. But a peace declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison: old versus new recognition. Feature: 20th century, military focus. 21st century, political focus. Main goal: control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool: guerrilla warfare/tanks. Peace declarations, UN lobbying. Worldview: victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels: become the new government, labeled as terrorists or spoilers. 4. Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. By requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis. Summary: why the signature 1? The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole where aid money disappears. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources. Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
I hope we all are listening. The only way to have a new country from 21st century. Also remember that 21st century started from 2001, is going to end in 2100, and we are in 2026. You see how many years to go? That is 1 century. So in this 21st century that we're talking about, look at what they ask us to do. The only way is through what? Peaceful declaration, not military command. What I want, why am I doing this program? That their name is there, and those who implemented this law, is for us to know that if you see any group championing military in social media, that is the only way. They have never moved forward. The UN, EU, AU has moved. The world is moving forward. The world is not holding on Nokia Touch, but the world is on iPhone 17 Pro Max. The world is on the highest laptop in the market is now M5 MacBook Pro. Is the highest laptop that is very fast in every other thing inside, but when it's come to internet. Now the world are no longer on 3G network or 2G. The world is on the 5G network. So as we that are fighting for a new country, we need to also be migrating. We need to also to be transitioned to the newest authority, or the new laws, or the new protocol, the new criteria that are making people to move forward. So the world are no longer in the era of the colonial master. The world are no longer in the championing Gento and Butozo. No. They are not the one to give order, but they are the one to take order from the government that make peaceful declaration from exile government. This is how the world sees this 21st century. If the world are shifting, Butozo, Gento, when you was born, do you know what is called laptop? Do you have internet the way it is right now? Do you know what is called social media? These are the creation of transition of the world are shifting forward. For you who are parading Butozo and Gento, you that are endangering their life, social media. Let me ask you a question. Are you still using landline to make phone calls? Are you still using Nokia Touch to make phone calls as the only phone you have? Are you still using that old Yamaha machine from Japan then? It can region right now. Are you still eating lizard. That simply means that the world are migrating to changing. The world are moving forward. Why are you staying back? Because you want power? It might destroy you. So my message to my brother, Gentle Yahoo, Botozo and all his men, Owam and all of them are very simple. Please, brother, the world has moved out from military command. The world has moved into peaceful declaration, democracy, where military does not control, where no citizen take order from the military anymore. Talk less of we that make a new real declared. And the word said that if you refuse to work under the peaceful declaration by exile government, that you are a rebel. We don't want to give you that name. We don't want to call you that. Now that the things are counted, we are no longer using Nokia touch. We use screen touch phone. If you can use screen touch phone and learn how to use it, what stops you from you that have gone inside the bush, you claim that you are military, why can't you ask on that the smartphone on your hand? What is the new law of 2020, 21st century to have a new country? Or just type in your phone. The world still believe that having a new country depends on the activities of the military. Please, my people. It's for our own good. They said it openly that peaceful declaration is a soft way of having a new nation. They said it might somehow to be delayed. Listen, in this history of this 21st century, if a peaceful declaration gets recognition to become a member of the UN in 10 years, the military command is not even going to get at all. It might take 100 years. Why do we? And they said that military way is a hard way. How do you want us to continue on the military hard way? When we are pressing button phone, it's not the hard way. Now that we are using screen touch, it's not the software for us. And on phone, you believe in software of the world, of the modern technology. And there is a modern law of 21st century. What stops us from adopt to that and see how it goes? And on that, nobody will attack you as a terrorist. Nobody will see you as a rebel. Nobody will see you as an insurgency. And if anything happened to you, the world also protects you, because they said when the military of a new declared country, document in exile, accepted the peaceful declaration, that what will happen? That they are going to back them up and defend them. The US President Donald Trump believed in this new law. That is why he rushed anywhere the war want to break out. He puts his fire. Is it not true? When Indonesia and these people of recent went to dig it out, Donald Trump rushed in, puts his fire. We don't want it anymore. Please, my people, change your narrative. Let that smartphone in your hand change your mental thinking. Yesterday on this particular law, they told us that the biggest man in the house is no longer the man with the biggest gun, but it is a man on the legal aspect of the time of this 21st century. Is the biggest man in the house. They make all these examples in a very simple, polite manner that we may understand. BLA, Butos and Gentle, please, my dear brother, you are delaying Biafra as a country with your actions. Those that are bringing up social media in the country where they are living, they have 24 hours light. They have stable internet. They sleep inside AC. They have their money in their accounts. They walk on road freely. When do you want to walk on road freely, Gentle? and Butos and the one. And the only thing, the only one thing, I repeat, the only one thing that gives you a free walking on the road is peaceful declaration. And because of our negativity, our ignorance, that is not an excuse in the eyes of the law meant to destroy us. Please, ndị be si n'okwu Igbo na osita adịba mma na ọ dịbara gboo. Osita adịba mma ọ dịbara gboo. The only thing, another one thing that is constant in life is what? Changing. The world is changing. You got to change. Type on your phone, what are the easiest way to achieve a new country declaration, a new country recognition after a peaceful declaration? It is very simple, gentle and butoso. You have system. You can type and they will give you. Or it's in the Google. Chrome is there. In the archive is there. In many apps can give you this answer very simple. Sorry, it's not time for phone call yet. Please, no phone call yet. No phone call, my people, please. So, when you are listening to some certain things in this stage we are, the only option we have, and the world make it openly, that the only way for us to achieve Biafra as a country in this 21st century, whether we like it or not, is through the peaceful declaration. Leave Ngozi Orabueze. You want Biafra? And the word said that through the peaceful declaration, oh, you're leaving Ngozi, take that word, the peaceful declaration. Is it Ngozi is your problem? Ngozi Orabueze is not only the woman who has declared their country. Please. I remind you again today. Look at it here. These are logos of countries that woman has declared in the world. See it here. These are the logos of a country that woman declares. Even in your own Africa, a woman declared Brazil, 1822, September the 2nd. A woman declared Israel, the Israel that you are calling Netanyahu. Netanyahu was brought out by a woman. The Netanyahu of Israel was there when a woman declares it. But what is that woman today? It might no longer be there. But see Netanyahu controlling it. Israel was also being declared in exile government. Israel was declared in exile by a woman. 1948. Brazil, 1822. What of Congo in Africa here? 1960. Sorry. Yes, 1960, Congo. What of Ghana? Do you know that Ghana was declared, when the exit there was even declared from the Great Britain, there was declared through a woman, declared it. Are they not country today? Is that woman that's leading them? What of South Africa? the people that end apartheid regime, when Nelson Mandela was arrested, a woman handled the movement until the world accepted what Nelson Mandela is fighting and end it up. And Nelson, what of Madagascar in Africa? A woman. 1920, a woman. What of Namibia, that got their independence from South Africa, was being declared in exile over a decade? A woman handled it until they got the recognition from the UN. What of Sao Tome and Principe? What of India? The first India declaration was declared by a woman in Germany, 1907. What of Algeria in Africa? 1954 to 1962, a woman. Forget the name Ngozi Orebeze, please. If that is what the problem. Believe in the real declaration, the peaceful declaration that gives us Biafra free and the soft way of having it. She has been the one to done it. What happened? That she repeated the history, the existing histories of countries that woman declares. When you go to class or a school, a woman is your principal. Don't you school there? In your class, a woman teaches many of us. Are you not going to school and take instruction from the woman in a class? Do you say, because of this class is a woman, I am not going to be in this school, or I'm not going to school here anymore? I will not answer her question in the class. I will not test. I will not write exam. I will not write my textbook. I will not do my textbook. I won't take my assignments because of she's a woman. Please. Forget my voice, but tell the truth. After you have gone above 18 years, are you not taking instruction from your mom? Are you not? Why do you call another person's mother or mama or mom? Why? Please, let us follow the word shift. Let us follow the word shift. UN, they shift towards peaceful declaration and away from military force. They shift through what? Peaceful declaration. What is that peaceful declaration? What took place in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, November 29, 2024. That is what the world called peaceful declaration. That is what the world called what? Peaceful declaration. They said that is where we have shifted. And we have walked away from military forces. The words, the Donald Trump that Angel Makeup always call, and people of conscience, they have all moved away from military force. They stay with peaceful declaration. You had it here. They shifted towards peaceful declaration and away from military force. They have shifted to peaceful declaration, embrace peaceful declaration. They now walked away from military force. Now that those that you are calling has walked away from military force, now what else are you still doing on the level of military? Let me tell us this. Ignorance is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. Butozo, Gentle the Yahoo, and all the group that are proving gang today. Those who are forming one thing or the other. The world will soon tag you name. And I am here to give you this evidence for the world not to tag you names. Kevin, senior man, I see you. Thank you so much for being on our live program because of my time and also your time. Thank you so much. Ejima Madu Ijeoma, thank you so much. Uche Ejiofor, thank you so much. Please hit the like button and share the program. If you think that the program want to share, please, I urge you to do that. It's 1 hour and they will have only 19 likes, only 20 likes. Please endeavor to, once you join, you hit the like button, share the programs. If you never subscribe on the YouTube page, please endeavor to do that, because through that you are helping me to spread this my small message, please, because I want it to get to the heart of our people, please. But the truth must be told. The truth is bitter. And I also remember that one that encourages me more is that where you find the truth, you will see few people there.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force isn't just a trend, it is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century.
Do you hear it? The shift towards peaceful declaration. Na-ekwu okwu udo, the words na ha chọrọ udo. Na ha chọrọ ka mba niile nwee udo. Na ha chọrọ country eji udo wee nwete. And n'ebe a nke ha kwụ, na ha chọzie nke eji ọgba aghara na ịlụ ọgụ na igbu mmadụ wee na-enwete. Ọkụ na-ebe ihe mba ụwa na-agwa anyị. And ha si anyị na nke eji udo wee nwete, na nke a bụ nke dị chachara anyị mfe. Na nke a bụ nke dị iru anyị easy. Na nke a bụ nke ama anyị nsogbu. Na nke a bụ nke amara anyị ahụ. Na nsogbu ama ndị na ya, nke emenye anyị nsogbu. Nke bụ na onwe n'ime anyị ga-etinye n'ụlọ nga. Ọkwụnya ka mba ụwa na-agwa anyị okwu ya. Na ebe a ka ha chọrọ ka anyị gaa. Lekwa na mba ụwa na-agbanyeghị na ha bụ ndị aghụghọ, na ha dekwara iwu adebe o. Ka anyị so kene ya, ka anyị try kene ya. Ihe na anyị alụọla ọgụ na mbụ, ma lụọlụ kwasakwa, mana anyị enweta ihe anyị na-achọ. Ọkakwa na ụmụ otu ha si wee nye iwu a n'arọ 2001. Ebe ọ bụ na anyị abịawa ugbu a n'arọ 2024. N'ọnwa nke 11 n'ime arọ 2024, na mkpụrụ ụbọchị nke 29 wee kwuo na anyị ekwerewo n'ụzọ udo ka anyị wee nwere ala anyị ma nwere obodo nke aka anyị bụ Biafra. Ebe ọ bụ na anyị ekwuru, ebe ọ bụ na anyị emekwala anya mba ụwa amara. Ngwazi ka anyị sorokwa n'ebe ha gwa wee gabazie n'iru wee mara ma ọ bụ na ha kpara anyị asị ka ọ bụ na ha chọọ ka anyị dịrị. Ọ maka anyị ga-agwazi ha na onye ajụ adịghị ajụ onwe ya. Ọ bụ na anyị gbaa mbọ niile a ma o kwero, denu anyị mezie nke anyị nwere ike dịka nke anyị ji wee bụrụ mmadụ. Mana ka anyị buru ụzọ kwee n'ihe ha kwuru, hapụ na ịgbalị isi elu, ihi na ọ ga-abịa ihe nkaka wee nyere anyị aka iji wee nweta Biafra. Mgbe ahụ ndị eji wee pụta, mgbe ahụ nwekwa ego iji dachi ya n'ime ụlọ nga ọzọ. Ụmụnne m biko, na ana m ayọ unu si unu biko nụ, onye emejọ ya gbaghara, onye emetere ya gbagharakwanụ, maka anyị lọtazilaghachi azụ na anyị enweela obodo, anyị enweela afa, ka anyị wee bịazie n'okpuru afọ anyị nwetara n'aka mba ụwa ka ọ dị ugbu a, ka anyị gwara sị ha na afọ anyị na anyị ewurewu udo ma kwupụta sị na afọ anyị bụ United State of Biafra. Ayọ n'ime unu si unu biko gbagharazie na onye ọbụla emejọrọ, ma bịanụ na asị na ọ na-eme alụcha n'ama ewee burula n'obi. Mgbe a bụzi ihe ọbụla emejọrọ gị, bịa ka anyị lụpụta ọgwụ n'ama site n'irubere mba ụwa isi, ma were ofu obi na ofu ụkwụ na-eje, ka mba ụwa wee bịa fụ na anyị kwetara n'eziokwu na udo ga-achị. Ọkwa ebe ịhụnanya dị, ebe ahụ ka udo ga-achị. Emejọrọ gị, emezitere gị ọfụma, emere gị mma, gbaghara ma bịa lọta ka anyị lụọla ama anyị lazie n'ụlọ anyị kperebe. Ọkwana ihe abụ ayịyọ otu ọ ga-esi wee mee ka ọ dị mma, ka ndị otu ọrụ nchekwa nke ala Biafra hapụ ịdị na soshal midia na-egosi igwe ngwa ọgụ. Ị na mba ụwa ga-eji akpa anyị afọ ọjọọ, mba ụwa sị ha ga-eji ya dị na ya ihe anyị na-achọ. Ihe unu chọrọ bụ ka ọ bụrụ eziokwu na Biafra ga-abụkwa ihe kpasara akpasa na agba nke abụọ, ọma adịkwanụ mma. Mara akwasị na o ji dịka na ji onwe ya ụla, mana aghọtakwa na o ji dịka na onye ahụ ji onwe ya ụla. Bataba n'ụgbọ ndị ọma, bataba na aha ọma nke anyị nwetara, nke anyị nyere onwe anyị, ịdị n'otu nke na-adịghị eme mgbasa, nke anyị ga-eji wee nwere onwe anyị. Ya bụ gịnị n'okwu oyibo? USB, United States of Biafra. Ka ị na-anụ ozi emetụ gị n'obi, chekwanụ mmadụ ole egbugoro n'okwu nwere onwe a. Chetakwa iko nsọ, cheta waka waka, cheta mgbochi ọya ka ọgwụgwụ ya, cheta double lion, cheta na enwere mbọsị na ọsụ etinyere moto ke ndị amị Naijiria ma gbuo mmadụ karịrị mmadụ 1000, buru ha wee pọtụfusi ozu ya, nke asịlọkụbo kwuru sị na ozu niile ahụ elitura na ọsụ na aka ya dị n'ime ya. Ndị be anyị si n'okwu Igbo na ọ bụrụ na eme ma oru eme ma di nwunye, ọ bụrụ na eme maka nna si menụ maka nne, ọ bụrụ na eme maka nne si mee maka na nwa etoola wee kwenye nna ugwu kwenyere nna ugwu. Mba ụwa nyekwana anyị gbara anyị ha chọrọ ka anyị mee, and anyị emeela ya. Ma ewekwana ka ị were ịkpa asị na nganga na pozishọn dị gị n'ime mmụọ gị were ya mebie ọnọdụ ọma anyị nwetara ka ọ dị ugbu a.
The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone.
Are you hearing it? The UN, EU, and the AU changes their approach because they realize that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. In Biafran war, does it not hurt any family? Now that the world has adopted this method, let us join them. Let us adopt the same method with them. Let us work towards it. Cheta kwande bayis na n'ofu ukwu azịza adịghị ekwe mgbaji, mana abịa mesasịa ya ofu agbajisie ya. Ọkwa ihe a ka mba Naijiria na-eme anyị. Ewere ụfọdụ ndị n'ime anyị bụ na ego ha chọrọ bịa. Narị Naijiria ego ya rie ma nọ ya nwayọọ. Ihe na ịma na ihe nyere eziokwu adịghị ọkwa ya n'ime. Ọkwa iyo ka anyị rọgụ n'ụbọchị na-asị gị biko zienu dododo gbagharakwanụ. Na ndị anyị si n'okwu Igbo na-enyere obi anụ, nye azụ, nye ego, nye akpa rice, nye ezigbo ofe egusi, nye ofe onugbu okwere ori. Mana mgbe asị ya obi gbagharanụ nwanne m, gbagharabazienu, obi wee gbaghara. Gentle bute ụzọ. Ọ dị ọkwana maka afọ nọtara na mbido. bụrụ ihe na-aga ebe ọ na-aga ka ọ dị ugbo ihe na ọ dịrọ mma. Lọtaban ụzọ ghere onye ọbụla oge enweghị kpochibidoro ụzọ. Ile ihe na-eme ugbu a ọ ihe a ndị Naijiria gọọmenti na-eme gị ka ị chọrọ kemgbe how many days ka ọ dị ugbu a esendịrị gị udele ọ na-achọgharị unu ka ugbu a ọ bịa ya ka mma ebe ọkwa na ọ bụrụ na ikwu n'okwu n'ebe our peaceful declaration dị na anybody who come to attack you, that is when Donald Trump ị na-akpọ ga-azakwa n'oge. That is when Netanyahu ị na-akpọ ga-azakwa n'oge. That is when the leader of conscience, the leader of thoughts ga-azakwa n'oge. Ọkwa na otu esi eme ya. Ihe ga-ajụ onwe gị bụ ma otu esi eme ya enwele ndị jiri otu ahụ nweta ya in this 21st century. Ọ bụrụ na Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu na nke ya feldụrụ n'ihi mma na egbe, kedu ihe ọzọkwa na ichere ka eme? Anyị achọọla n'ụzọ mma na egbe. Ọbata Obi Simon Ekpa onye mere gị bụrụ Militray gbara gị sị gị na emeghala peaceful declaration na nwekwa onye ga-agba ofu mkpụrụ mgba egbe ọzọ na Biafra land, mana a ga-anọ under self defense like nke unu na-eme ugbu a. Ha chọrọ unu bịa ebe unu nọ. You must defend yourself. The world adịghị against it. Ọ bụrụ na ozi niile unu na-ezi na ọ na-aga through the appropriate authority, which is the power or the authority that declares United States of Biafra, ọ kara imeta mkpụrụ, mana ihe otu o si aga enwekwa mkpụrụ ọ ga-amịta kama ha agụnye gị n'ebe a gụnyere ndị ọjọọ. Ọ bịa ya kara gị mma. Ihe ị na-eme ọ ihe a Donald Trump kwetara anyị ya. Ihe anyị na-eme ọ ihe a Netanyahu kwetara anyị ya. Gwa m onye ọchịchị, gwa m president ma ọ bụ onye isi obodo ọbụla nke kwetara otu isi wee na-eme. Jụke na onwe gị ajụjụ otu nsi eme ya ka ndị jigoro ya wee nweta ala ha. Ọ bụrụ na ejiri enweta ya na 20th centuries, then ha wee bịa gwa gị na this 21st centuries na ama nje wee nweta ya. Ọ na ọka na ya mma na anyị kwere ma ya bụzi na ha wee disappoint anyị kama ịbụ na disappointment and na ya nwa bụ ihe jụrụ the law kama ka ekwe ndị law ma anyị wee trezie mara ihe ọzọ ha ga-eme. I am not condemning that we have a military under self-defense. Otu a udele chọrọ gị bịa inye ihe ahụ ọ chọrọ bịa. Ihe ọwụ self-defense. Ị nọ na be gị ọ chọrọ gị bịa na be gị. O jiri mma bịa iwere mma soro ya. O jiri egbe bịa iwere egbe soro ya. Ihe ọ bụla o jiri bịa ihe a ga-eji wee soro ya. Otu a ka self-defense law si wee dị. Mụ Biafra onye agbarizina na ya kwara n'isi idebe mmiri. We have got to that soft way, and the soft way of having a new country is what? Peaceful declaration. We move. The UN, EU, and the AU changes their approach because they realize that in the globalized world, military force, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hosts everyone. This is the new law. This is the new law that has adopted in this 21st century. That is the new law that the world wants us to embrace. That is the new law, how they want us to go. And they call it what? They call peaceful declaration a soft way of having a nation. That military is in a hard way. Please, let us leave hard way and choose soft way. Let us embrace soft, like the phone you have in your hand. Are you still using button phone? The answer is no. Are you still using landline to make phone calls? The answer is no. The world are changing. Let us change. Let us move. Let us shift with them and see how it's going to go. Let us live this way that is hurting everyone. You see, military way is what is hurting everyone. It's hurting Biafra land. It's hurting us. Losing our people in the hands of Nigerian government. All are hurting. That's when they said it's hurting really. What of you? Are you not being hurt? When you went to a meeting, they poisoned you to die. What happened? Is it not the same thing? You feel hurt. Now that the world have given you the way of not being hurt, please swallow the ego, embrace the software that we who believe in that software, which is United State of Biafra declared November 29, 2024 in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, through the Hongozo Arabese and other cabinet members. That is the only software that he was talking about. Please, let us try and embrace the software.
One. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation.
Are you hearing it? Now let us see the criteria and why they change. Here is why the world power changes the laws of becoming a new nation. Remark this word. Here is why the world powers changes the laws of becoming a new nation. Remember, in this world power, Donald Trump is number one. That is true. And now listen to what Donald Trump has changed and what he believes on, and think and look at if what you are doing is on that line, on that criteria.
1. The shift from might to right, R2P.
Remember the word, number one, they shift from might to right. They shift from power to do the right thing. The right thing doesn't take power, but might take power, intimidation.
20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the Responsibility to Protect, R2P.
I hope you are following. In 20th century, if you could hold land, you are a new nation. But after the genocide in the Rwanda and in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine line, 2005, called the responsibility to protect. Responsibility to protect. That is R2P. They adopted this law in when? 2025. They started on 2001. They come to 2025 and adopted all the laws. That was 2005. They approved it. So this law we're talking about was here from 2005 to this day. Before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu takes over the movement, precisely 2014, 20 something, 2005, this law has been adopted. After the decided war in Rwanda, what happened in Rwanda is what makes the world changes their mind, changes their narrative, changes their ideology, and shift into words. Right, no longer might. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a new nation. But after the genocide in Rwanda and the Srebrenica in the 1990, the UN adopted the new doctrine line in 2005 called the responsibility to protect. This is the new law they have adopted. 2005, it was adopted. And that is the law they are using. That is the law they want us to accept. That is how they want us to go. And what happens? We, the people of United State of Biafra, has also adopted the law. We adopted this law by our peaceful declaration, November the 29th, 2024, through our peaceful declaration of United State of Biafra. Remember our code. I am a citizen of United State of Biafra. Amaji Chigozie, thank you so much. Ben, Onyenkem, thank you so much.
New rule. Sovereignty is no longer a right. It is a responsibility.
I hope you are listening. The new rule. Sovereignty is no longer power right. It is responsibility of your people not to die through military conquest. You wipe people out, you destroy houses, you destroy markets, you bomb many things, but through peaceful declaration, no bombing, no killing, and that is what the world wants. We must adhere to that.
The impact. If a group takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them.
I hope you are listening. The impact. If a group takes power by force, the international community assume they will rule by force. That they rule by what? By force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove your intent to protect your people rather than to control them. Gentle and Butoso. These are the new rules. Gentle and Butoso. This is the new rule that the world wants us to maintain. These are the new rule that USB has adopted. And you come, what the Ngozi is doing? What is the Ngozi's army? Ngozi does not have army. What we have is the United States of Biafra military arm wing is what we have. And they are not in social media. They are not aware in social media. They are taking order from the government. They are not the one issuing order and authority. They are not commanding. They are not controlling us. And that is one of the most things that the UN is afraid of. When you are commanding the people, rather than instead of controlling them through the peaceful declaration by exile government. Now, number 2, listen.
The anti-coup norm, the AU's Loam Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Loam Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why?
Are you hearing it? The African Union, AU. But before I read, I want to tell AU, remember, in 1960, in 1967, 1970, British used you against us. You are the power they used to silence the Biafran people. Remember that. Then now, because of it is a military time, now it is the peaceful declaration. Are you going to continue sabotaging the people of Biafra, or are you going to be the power being used again against us? We will deal with all of you in due time if you refuse to, and if you refuse to implement this your law on us in the 21st century. If you refuse to give us this law, we will change the game. But now we believe in the peaceful declaration. We believe in the only that one way that we grab our new nation. We believe in that. But what happened still in my mind. So we are watching you. We are watching with our two eyes open. AU, we are watching you in Africa. And we know all of you. You must adhere to this law. But if you refuse, we are going to drag you. And you hear from us. The African Union, AU, lead the world into this change. Imagine the Africa lead this movement of changing the law. Africa is the one that lead on this movement. According to the document. Lead the world in these changes in 2000. They adopted the loan declaration, which satisfied, forbid unconstitutional changes of a government, military power. The words are no longer in the military power. They are no longer counting military as only one way to have a new nation. But they said the only one way to have a new nation is by peaceful declaration. It's no longer military.
Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa. The AU decided that any group taking power by a gun would be automatically suspended from the Union. The result.
I hope you are listening. Why? Military coup and the rebel takeover. Gentle, listen to hear. Military coup and the rebel takeover. It is coming from the office of the Triple General Igwe Butozo. That is what they call military takeover. That is, that woman called I don't know that bring gentle. I was asking you, you know, you who wear the shoes nowhere impinges you. They call it what? The world will call it military coup and rebel takeover. Then they also said that they are not going to recognize that one who are going to command his people instead of controlling by the executive government that made declaration. They call it here what? Military coup and rebel takeover. Gentle Butuzo, Ibe Butuzo, is it what you want? This is the 21st century law. Starting from 2001. Then this movement take over. The changes started in 2000. In the year 2000, the movement starts through African country. That they are not going to recognize anyone anymore with the military power. That if anybody try to use the military power to do this, that they will see you as what? Military coup and the rebel takeover. Is it what you want for yourself? Is it what people is it what you want as a Biafran? My answer to myself is no, I don't want it. I want a peaceful declaration, the easy way to have a new country. The AU decided that any group taking power by gun would be automatically suspended from the union. You can't come into the union. Are we going to have Biafra that we are just on our own? That we have sanctions? That the many countries will not allow us to work close with them? Is it the kind of Biafra you want? Is it the kind of Biafra you need? Now that the world have given us the way for us to achieve Biafra as our own country in a peaceful way, what is the problem? Please leave this way Gentle. I don't want Donald Trump. I don't want Netanyahu to see you as military coup and the rebel takeover. That is why I am sending this message to you. Oh, that is why I am sending this message to all the Biafrans, to all the groups that are the fake fallback bridge, the BGC, the CRC, the ADC, all of you, the IPOB organization. We, the people of Biafra, has accepted that we want a peaceful declaration. And this peaceful declaration has been done on November 29, 2024. That is the only easy way to have a new nation in this 21st century. It's not by protest. It's not by town hall meeting. It's not by name, but it is in the name of the country. Yes, Masob and the BIM. Yes, thank you. She was a thank you. All this group. And the one I saw that are calling for fundraising, United something. All of you are just making mockery of yourself. And it seems all of you never want Biafra. Go and verify very well. Any of this group, anyone that was being removed by the authentic government, the next thing they will do is what? They will form their own group. But that is true. And you know that this government was there before, and you are a member of the government. Because of your misattitude and misconduct, once they ask you to wait, next thing you do is to form you form your gang. That means that even when you're in the government, you have your group personal. I did not come for Biafra movement because there's someone I love so much. The reason I love is I love my own country. I want to have a country which I can call my own, where I can contest for anything I want. And if I won the election, I will go in for it. And I will serve my people. The results.
This forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct military junta-style rule.
Do you hear it? The forced liberation movement to prioritize the peaceful transition. If we believe in the issue of I don't know who and that the only way they can make Biafran people's money is by bringing Butozo out. My people, these things are no longer needed in this 21st century. These things are no longer needed in this 21st century. The world has walked away from military force. They only embrace peaceful declaration. That is the result.
Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade.
Are you hearing it? In this 21st century, economic trade independency. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. They are putting this word very easy for us to understand it. It needs access to the internet, global banking, and international trade. This is what a new country needed, and this is how it's going to be. We need all this. But if it comes to happen through military power, like what Gento and Butozo is claiming, that they are in charge, we will not need all these things. So look at the danger. Look at the damage on it. In this 21st century, the world has given us a way on what to do for us to have our new nation. It's in our cupboard. It's in our hand. And that is why I will never stop thanking USB Redeclared for all the good work that they have been doing for us to bring us back to life through our peaceful redeclaration that took place November 29, 2024 in Helsinki, that's Finland. Please, as you join me, please, I urge you to like and share, subscribe, turn notification on so you will know when we are live and join us. On this page, this is all what we do in this page from day one. Go and check all our videos. I am educating myself to be getting ready to queue in the line of those that will give us recognition.
Organization of recognition. World powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group. They just need to refuse to recognize their signature. With that,
Gentle, the word said that they are not going to recognize a signature of a military commanders and generals. That there is no amount of what they will do that will make them, please, that will make them to accept your signature. Now that the world cannot be able to accept your signature or recognize you as a triple general that are in charge of the new state, it's not better that you key on the one that the world will recognize, which is USB Redeclared. That is the only one, the appropriate one, the appropriate authority that the world knows. You being inside that bush, and the people will come and say the order is coming from a triple general. The world knows nothing about that. They only see you as a military takeover, as a rebel takeover. Is it what you want for yourself? My people, the time we are wasting, we are delaying ourselves. The time that we are wasting on this movement in fact, enough is enough. Recognition. World powers realize they do not need to send arms to stop rebel group. Who are this rebel group? Those that refuse to accept peaceful declaration. Those who did not make peaceful declaration and they are parading themselves as the authority or military power. The word said, world powers realize they do not need to sign arms to stop any rebel group. They just need to refuse to recognize their signature. UN said that they would refuse to sign signature, refuse to come and sign signature. That they would not recognize Butoza as the leader because he did not make a peaceful declaration. So, as we are listening to this, let us tell ourselves truth, but this is a bitter truth. This is that thing that the world are hiding from us since over all this while. Until now, we have proved that we can go and dig grave and bring it out so we can know it and know where we're making a mistake over all this while. My people, the truth is always come at last, and I know follows. We must continue.
at a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. Military force captures the dirt, but a peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison. Old versus new recognition.
No, that's all it's here. Without a peaceful declaration, underline this particular word. Underline it in your mind. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phone as ISO. Or Guinea. Because now that we declare Biafra, we are going to have a peaceful code or a country code. And they said, without this peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phone. Are you hearing it? An ICO code for the currency or a seat in the IMF. Military force captures the direct, but the peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Now, with peaceful declaration, nobody will sanction us anymore. With peaceful declaration, nobody will see us for having a code to have our own line. Our own line we put inside our own SIM card that we're going to use in our own phones as people of Biafra. All these things will happen if military are coming on social media claiming they are the one in charge. And there is no amount of this that will lead to Donald Trump to come and answer. There's no amount of this military force that will lead to Netanyahu to come and answer. Netanyahu can only answer on the code of the peaceful declaration. That is what they call external secession, remedial secession, that gives the world power to come and talk about us. That our problem is no longer the internal affair of Nigeria. Rather, it is external. Everybody come and talk. Now, through this peaceful declaration, we have given Donald Trump power to talk about us. We have given Netanyahu power. We have given all the world powers leverage to come to talk about Biafra. It's not that is the best one. It's not the easiest way. Stella Zoka, thank you so much. See you. No, my sister, my brother, we are calling for peace. In the Bible, this is my beg, not USB begging them. As I understand what we need for us to become a new country. That is why I'm begging. That is why I'm sending this message. No insult, no abuse. That is why I want them to know that all this that is happening need to stop. Listen to the new law of 21st centuries. How you get a new country. Underline this word. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get country code for phone. Only that word. Is it not enough for you? That is why it's very important into what we are doing that we, the people of Biafra, must accept the rules of the 21st century that are giving us Biafra as a peaceful country. What else do you want the world to tell us? Now, how do you think that when we are doing ourselves with all your action, that the world will listen to us? Comparison, old versus the new recognition. Comparison of the old military 20th century to the new recognition of 21st century. Listen.
Feature: 20th century, military focus. 21st century, political focus.
Are you hearing it? Future, 20th century, military force is what they was using then. 21st century, political force. 21st century, political what? First. No longer military first. Now, main goal in 20th century, control of capital city by force, not lasting. 21st century, international legal legitimacy. Legal is a template for you to achieve a new nation. International legal legitimacy in this 21st century for us to have Biafra as our own country, no longer military force. They said in the old, the 20th century, military force control the capital by force and become a failed state. 21st century, international legal legitimacy is what they want. The template you are asking, we go 247. The template is international legal legitimacy. That is what USB stands for. I mean no insult. I mean no harm, no threatening. This is what the world gives us in this 21st century. Have we adopted this over 2 years and 3 years? And the world still turn back at us. That is when we will go through the other way around. Please like and share the program. If you think that this little thing I'm doing here worth to share, please, I urge you to share and like, subscribe. Let other people hear the message. My own is to dig ground to bring it out. The only way we help this message is to share it and like. Once you like, there is somebody in your notification, that person will get this message and listen to it. I know that I don't speak good English, but I think the person will hear what I'm saying because I want to do it in a capacity to every layman understanding. And you know, the English is not my language. Please, do not be ashamed to share the message. Do not be ashamed to like the message. But do it because of this little thing I'm doing is to let our people understand that we are doing the right thing. Thank you so much, Mommy and my grace. You are only the people who said you have shared the program. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now let us continue. Remember the future, the old, and the new. Now, the old primary tool, warfare. In the old, they believe in war. They believe in what? In war. When Nanjoko, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Then, 20th century, war. Take war becoming a country. Then, 21st century, peaceful declaration, UN lobby. 21st century, peaceful declaration / UN lobby. Lobby on the UN, which is what the US government is doing. This is what they want. No longer military force. And with military force, in the era of earlier 20s, nobody, nobody will wait for you to be recognized automatically. Once you conquer the state, become a nation. But this 21st century, they said, hell no. That what we want is what? Peaceful declaration, UN lobbying. Make a peaceful declaration, go and lobby to UN, go and lobby to Washington, D.C., go and lobby to every countries and all the members of the UN and the EU and the AU. That is what the world are looking from our hand. That is what they said. That is what they call peaceful declaration. World view. 20th century, war victory. In fact, 21st century, democracy is the requirement. Democracy is the requirement. Democracy is the requirement. Gentle. When any man who carry gun gives order, it becomes autocracy. But when it's coming for the civilians, it becomes democracy requirement. That is what the world wants from our hand. The world wants democracy requirement, not military force. Feet of rebels become the new government by force. and become a failed state. The new 21st century use force and label as a terrorist or a spoiler. Gentle, but also any military arm in Biafra land who claim I am fighting for Biafra, but you are not under the peaceful declaration, the world will label you terrorist or a spoiler of a new state. This is not from Ngozi Orabreze, right up. This is EU, AU, UN combined law that was adopted 2005. And the journey begins 2000. Then they waited for 2001 for it to become 21st century. They are using what? That if you continue on the level of military, that the world powers like Donald Trump or Netanyahu will label you as a terrorist or a spoiler of a new country. My brothers and sisters in the military, in the homeland, if you are not under US second instruction, please from today repent. Change is one thing that is constant in life. Number 4.
Main goal: control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool: guerrilla warfare/tanks. Peace declarations. UN lobbying. Worldview: victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels: become the new government, labeled as terrorists or spoilers. 4. Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. But
do you hear the idea? Do you hear what they think? Before they'll change, they move, they stop, they condemn everything 20th century, no more military force, and adopted a peaceful declaration. What was fear that if you recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. Are you listening? This is what it is. This is how it goes. The time has come that we may adopt the new 21st century law, which is what USB have already adopted through our peaceful declaration that happened November 29, 2024 in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland. This is what the world wants us to do. Is it not the best way? Let me ask you in the comment section. Equal justice. My brother, thanks so much for coming. My question is, this soft way that the world wants us to go, really, without sentiment, is it not the best way? Can you answer in the comment section if that is not the best way for us to go? With all this explanation that we are doing,
requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis.
I hope you are listening. I hope you are hearing it. I hope you, Kevin, thank you so much for your answer. Thank you so much, Mama Great. Thank you so much. I hope you are listening. By requiring a peaceful declaration and negotiation settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, this is what this 21st century has worked on them, no matter what happens. The UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and does not crash the global stock market or causes massive refugee crises. This is what the world, these are the areas that the world are moving in. And look at their thinking. But that is true. That is the pure truth. That is why we must continue to bless. If you bless USB without blessing Ngozi Orabreze, you are doing partiality, because she brought out the movement of the USB to become authentic and original government of the Biafran people that are maintaining the international law of the 21st century by the EU, UN, and AU.
Why the signature won? The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military is. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources.
Are you hearing it? The world power changes the law because war is expensive. War is what? Expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole where aid monies disappeared. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loan and trend to pay back. Look at what the 21st century law is all about. And look at what Donald Trump, Netanyahu, that our people are calling, believe on in the 21st century. For a new nation. This law is for you, for us that want a new nation. Butuzo Gento and all the group, including Ezamu Nobi and his group, are you sure that you want Biafra as a country? What is your mind about the new international laws of 21st century? Why are you still in 20th century? That means you need to go to rehabilitation. Anybody, yes, like this country where I am, I have a patience. We in 2026, he's in 2024. They brought him for rehabilitation, to thoroughly screening, to thoroughly to treat him. So anybody who still believe in the 20th century, like I don't know, Chiamaka Ajere and all these people, they need to go to Psycho hospital to be treated. And I think our DPM, that is why he is curing their madness the way it's supposed to be. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loan. The world believe in economy to grow first. And also, do you also know that the world build organization based on how economy you have? These are the things that we all need to know at this 21st century. Please, my people, let us embrace 21st century. Let us embrace this new law.
Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
Now, Odogwe Nugumpa, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because of my time, that's why I'm mentioning them. All the comments, if you listen to me, that is how I pick your comment, put inside what I'm doing. So after I have played, because we have session 2, after I have played this particular first one, this first section now, then after that, I will allow phone calls to come. You hold on. After I play it finished, the number to call remain +97 33 60 51 337. Please also hit the like button. Subscribe on the page if you think it's worth you to subscribe to listen.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force isn't just a trend. It is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century. The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation. 1. The shift from might to right, R2P. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the Responsibility to Protect, R2P. The new rule: sovereignty is no longer a right, it is a responsibility. The impact: if a group takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them. 2. The anti-coup norm, the AU's Loam Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Loam Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why? Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa. The AU decided that any group taking power by a gun would be automatically suspended from the Union. The result, this forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct military junta-style rule. 3. Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade. The weaponization of recognition. World powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group, they just need to refuse to recognize their signature. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. Military force captures the dirt, but a peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison. Old versus new recognition. Feature. 20th century. Military focus. 21st century. Political focus. Main goal. Control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool. Guerrilla warfare / tanks. Peace declarations. UN lobbying. Worldview. Victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels. Become the new government. Labeled as terrorists or spoilers. 4. Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. By requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis. Summary. Why the signature won. The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole, where aid money disappears. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources. Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
I hope you are listening to it. You see, we have only one way. You see this issue of parading military, men on ground, Umuoma, Umajan, it's not going anywhere to help us. That is why we must thank our DPMs for standing up on this level that we are into right now. Please, I urge you to like and share the program, please. It's only Mommy Margaret confirmed that she shared this program. Out of the 40 people we have, only one person confirmed I shared the program. How can people hear this message without sharing it? Now that I'm doing it, not everybody will listen. There is those that will listen for this program if we continue sharing it in the next 2 weeks. That is how YouTube ships message. Because it's going from hand to hand. So please share on different WhatsApp groups, share on Instagram, share on anywhere you can, both for Facebook. What we are doing is to bring our poor mindset, both those who did not even believe in Biafra, for them to know that what we did was achievable, that the UN, the world powers have law or give us right to do this. Let them know that the world give us power for us to do this. Like I said, Facebook S handle, please. Thank you so much, Agania. Please, my people, our phone call is open for Biafran people, please. If you want to call, you can call me on number +9733605137 before we move into second section. If anyone decides to call, that is the number you can call on. And also, Biafrans, please, I see please on one thing. The gadget that I'm looking for still remain because of its very, very costly one. That the one that will make this work easier. The one that will make the research very easy for me. Please, I urge Biafrans to help. So once we get it, the program will change on another different level. Thank you, Stella. Thank you so much. Yes, 2 people has confirmed. Only 2 people has confirmed, or 3 people. Because I know that Gonaya has already shared once she enters. That's how she does her own. Please, I urge you to share and like the program. help us so our people may understand the importance of that the only way in this 21st century from 2001 till 2100 is what? Only our peaceful declaration is the only way. Only through peaceful declaration is the only way. The world has shifted towards peaceful declaration. Stay away from military force. It's not just a trend. It is a fundamental design of how the world works in this 21st century. The UN, EU, and the AU changes their approach because they realize that in the globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Yes, my God, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Military force, they said, it cannot create a stable country. Rather, it creates a failed state that hurts everyone. You see? Do you hear that? Here is why the world power changes laws of becoming a new nation. The law that controls a new nation, the criteria that controls a new nation, the world had shifted away from military power. They only brace words. They said only one soft way is through a peaceful declaration. A peaceful declaration is the only way to achieve a new country.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force isn't just a trend, it is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century. The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country, it only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation. 1. The shift from might to right, R2P. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the Responsibility to Protect, R2P. The new rule, sovereignty is no longer a right, it is a responsibility. The impact. If a group
After declaration, you become a sovereignty that are seeking for international recognition.
takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is
The international community hates those that rule by force. Because of what? Declaring Biafra and proving through minutes that we are a country, the world are going to do what? Remove us. They said that they will oppress us until we denounce that declaration, if it happen to depend on a military command. But it is by peaceful declaration that are going to help us in due time.
only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them. 2. The anti-coup norm, the AU's Lome Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Lome Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why? Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa. The AU decided that any group taking power by a gun would be automatically suspended from the Union. The result, This forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct military junta-style rule. 3. Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade. The weaponization of recognition. World powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group, they just need to refuse to recognize their signature. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. Military force captures the dirt, but a peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison. Old versus new recognition. Feature. 20th century. Military focus. 21st century. Political focus. Main goal. Control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool. Guerrilla warfare / tanks. Peace declarations. UN lobbying. Worldview. Victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels. Become the new government. Labeled as terrorists or spoilers. 4. Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. By requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis. Summary. Why the signature won. The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole, where aid money disappears. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources. Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
Now, this question is the next section that we are going to listen. The criteria. On that criteria, then you may understand our DPM and going to USB that they are on the 100% right on the 21st century, that they adopted it as the template of the people of Biafra to be live and for us to achieve recognition very easily. The world is changing. We must change. Remember that I still have some minutes for phone call, because the number to call still remain plus 9733 60 51 337. That is the number you can call only on WhatsApp to share your thoughts on the things that you are hearing in this adult platform today on this particular the new rule of AU, EU, and UN in this 21st century. And you had it here. After declaration, a new country must apply to the UN Security Council for international recognition. It's not what we think. It's not it's not what the way we see it, the way it is. The world hates force in this 21st century. They want anything to be won through document and paper. And see, they said in summary, why the signature one, signing signature is what they will use to have a new country and the world organize it. As we are waiting for those who want to call, as we're not seeing so far, so the people are at work, let us listen in the criteria that leads to international recognition.
To show the criteria for recognition, we have to look at the 1991 EU guidelines, which are still the foundation for EU policy today, and the updated 21st century norms that have been added to them. The European Union has moved far beyond the old 1930s rules of who has the most land. Today, the EU uses recognition as
They have moved away from who has most land. Remember again, they have moved away from military. Now they have moved away. We said we are sovereignty, but we are not controlling our land. They have moved away from that. Listen to where they are.
a tool to promote democracy and stability. If your government in exile makes a peaceful declaration, the EU will judge you against these specific criteria. 1. The democratic basis requirement. The EU will not recognize a strongman or a military group that simply claims to be in charge. Mandate.
Are you hearing it? What they will judge us against, what they will make us that they will not recognize us. Number 1, the EU will not recognize a strong man or a military group that simply claim to be in charge. Have a caller? Odogwu Enugu. Odogwu Enugu, good evening from here.
Oh, neme. Yena die kwemume.
Yes, so.
Koneme. Onumana apatakwa.
Loud and clear.
Yena die kwemume. Koneme. Oneme. Yena die kwemume. Candidate here. Is Biafran hearing my voice?
Loud
my
and clear.
Voice coming out?
Loud and clear, like the voice of Odogwu Enugu.
Hey, I thank you. I want to say again, congratulations and well done for a good job. The highest solution solver. I want to appreciate you with other Biafrans. Though I have commented, but I don't know, you don't have time to read my comment. Is it going to be true, Chai, that very soon we will have our international code number for telephone and for other gadgets?
Yes.
Apart from what Zoo is giving to us. Is it going to be true?
Very, very soon. Very, very soon.
Chai. Thanks to United States of Biafra declared. Thanks to Dr. Ngozi Rebeze. Thanks to His Excellency Simon Ekpa, PhD. Thanks to Nnamdi Kanu, Ohamadike 1. And thank you too. You see, not only that, many people have become Biafran citizens. I can see them in the comment section.
Yes, sir.
Hey, many of you already Biafran citizens. Biafrans, I want all of you to follow me and be happy because this is not a joke anymore. What guns and bullets and military cannot give us, the declaration have given it to us in a platter of gold. Our only contribution should be to support the USB declared. Our only support is to align to the rules and the changes in the diplomatic section of United Nations and the world globally. Biafrans, I want us to be happy because it has become a reality that in this our 21st century, in this our own days, that we are going to bring the kingdom of God on earth to our people. For all the people that casted their vote, that suffered to Finland and signed the document of declaration. Congratulations to you all.
Yes.
That we are giving our children and our children and our children hope of survival. This is the kingdom of God on earth. I don't want to talk too much concerning our brothers like Gentle and Co. The only thing I want to tell them is an advice, not a warning. You are gone, you are holding at hand, is not going to be your security. Your security is going to be the United States of Biafra declared document. The gun will face you off as rebels. The guns you have at hand will face you off as terrorism or terrorists. We don't want you to be called terrorists. After you have suffered, we don't want you to be called rebels. After you have suffered,
or spoilers.
We don't
or
want
spoilers.
we don't want spoilers. You to be neglected.
Yes.
After many things you have sacrificed, go to your state, fall into the United States of Biafra military elites that are ready for defense. Fall in there, know your governor. We want to give you people information or a right of where we are. In the countries that Biafrans are based, there's nothing like gentle Yahoo, men on ground, all this. No. They are above that. That is why we say that Biafra is going to come from abroad. We want to change all those old mentality. So please, we are begging you. We are not intimidating you. We are not neglecting you. We are promoting you to the highest and the next level. This level you're operating now, it is an instrument of failure.
A failure
because
and the level of the 20th centuries.
What?
They never move away from the brain or behind 20th centuries. They should leave the 20th centuries to enter 21st century, where you have iPhone 17 Pro Max.
Exactly. In a nutshell and in simple terms. So our brothers, gentle, and your people, other here, fall in so that we be protected with the Biafra Declaration. With that document, nobody will have any reason to attack you because you will be defended. We have our Prime Minister, we have our Deputy Prime Minister, and we have also our leader. They are involved, they are included in all these documents. So we love you people, we appreciate you, we recognize you. We are not forgotten all the suffers, all the sacrifices you people have made. So in this time, it's time of harvest. Come in and harvest and reap the joy of your sorrows. The time of suffering is over. That is why I am contributing today to make sure that you people are okay. And that my contribution and other Biafrans that are contributing genuinely will not be a waste. Our DPM is working with her cabinet to make sure that everybody is happy. And she promised that she is going to destroy Nigeria, and she's doing that. Thank you very much, Ray Biafra TV, and thank you for genuine Biafran citizens. I can now say I am a citizen confidently as a Biafran.
Yes,
oh my God.
Yes,
it's a very big honor to me.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Support in anywhere we can.
Yes, thank you so much.
Your ID card if possible. Apply to join your state or anywhere you are across the world. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you so much, Odogwu Enugu. That is a wonderful one. Thank you. You are on point. And that is excellent conversation with you. Thank you so much for that. May Elohim keep us together as we are moving forward, not going back, because we are on the last stage, which we have done what the world are looking for our hand for us to do. Thank you so much. Remember where we are. We are going to move to the first session back To remind us something before we go back to the second session, again, with only playing it. What's where the 21st century to do and what we have to do and the things that the world organized at this 21st century. 21st century era started from 2001. It's going to end in 2100. That is when the 21st century era is going to go. And look at where the world has moved. Now that the world has moved, why can't we move as the people of Biafra? Why can't we change? What we think and how we see it is not how the world is seeing it. And how the world is seeing it is in document. They had it from us. But I think we'll be able to get some of it. And we'll use to know that look at what we're supposed to do. Listen to this again before we go back to the second session. Why the USB is the only option. They call it what? Peaceful declaration. That a soft way to have a new nation that is no longer depend on the military might or military power anymore. That they have cancelled it in this 21st century. Listen to this.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force isn't just a trend, it is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century. The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country, it only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation. 1. The shift from might to right, R2P. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the responsibility to protect, R2P. The new rule: sovereignty is no longer a right, it is a responsibility. The impact: if a group takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them. 2. The anti-coup norm, the AU's Loam Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Loam Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why? Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa. The AU decided that any group taking power by a gun would be automatically suspended from the Union. The result: this forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct military junta-style rule. 3. Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade. The weaponization of recognition. World powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group, they just need to refuse to recognize their signature. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. Military force captures the dirt, but a peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison: old versus new recognition. Feature: 20th century, military focus. 21st century, political focus. Main goal: control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool: guerrilla warfare / tanks. Peace declarations, UN lobbying. Worldview: victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels: become the new government, labeled as terrorists or spoilers. 4. Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. By requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis. Summary: why the signature won? The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole where aid money disappears. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources. Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
I hope you're listening. We are no longer in the era of military force. We are no longer in the era of showing military every social media. No. We are no longer in the era of the military is number one. No. In the new first criteria, in the first 5 of criteria of 21st century having a new country, military is not among. They excluded military. They excluded military on it with a reason. And we had it here. That they recognized what? In summary, why the signature won. The signature is what is going to want to. Not longer military force. The world has moved from 21st century. They are no longer, they have moved away from military power. They are no longer in the era of where military conquer the land, you become a sovereign state and you become a nation. No, they said hell no to that, that we have made a change. We have moved forward. What are we using? We are using only peaceful declaration. That is a signature of the people that they want a new nation. That simply means that peace, that you are going to protect the people, not to command them. That is what the world, that is where we are, 21st century. If any of us is using a screen touch, refuses to move with the UN, EU, and AU 21st century law, you are doing yourself more harm than good, because in that your phone, you can just go to Google, ask, read from there. What are the criteria to have a new nation in this 21st century? They will give you the answer. You will not find military. It's not there. It's not there. It's not among. You had it here clearly. Ngozi Arabeze believe in signature, believe in document, much. She also believed that on the self-determination, that when we are in our territory, if Nigeria government comes, we will challenge them. We will defend ourselves. That is self-determination. Military, having a new country recognition, or it does no longer based on the military might. It based on the right of self-declaration, peaceful declaration. That is where he based this time around. So, to second section.
To show the criteria for recognition, we have to look at the 1991 EU guidelines, which are still the foundation for EU policy today, and the updated 21st century norms that have been added to them. The European Union has moved far beyond the old 1930s rules of who has the most land. Today, the EU uses recognition as a tool to promote democracy and stability. If your government in exile makes a peaceful declaration, the EU will judge you against these specific criteria. 1. The democratic basis requirement. The EU will not recognize a strongman or a military group that simply claims to be in charge. Mandate. You must prove you have the support.
Remember here. He answers every question. That is why I refuse to talk to that person who is talking about sovereignty and Ngozi Arabeze. You can see I just shy away from it. I don't want to have time to do that. I want to use what the word in the 21st century, I want to use their law to answer him. That is why I do that. I don't see the message. But I thank all the Bafraan that are here lecturing him. I thank all of you. So in this 21st century, the EU will not recognize a strong man or a military group that is simply claiming to be in charge. We are in charge. Triple general. But those of the world are no longer in that way. In that your level of thinking and reasoning, the world has moved away from that. Gentle Butozo, gentle the Yahoo, the world has moved away from that. Netanyahu, you are calling. Donald Trump, your men are calling. They have moved away from military force because they want peace.
Support of the people through a referendum, previous elections, or a broad coalition of civil society. Pluralism. You must show that your new government includes different ethnic, religious, and political groups, not just your own military comrades. 2. Respect for the rule of law. The EU is a legal union, and they expect new nations to be the same. Human rights. You must formally adopt the European Convention on Human Rights, or the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Minority rights. You must provide specific legal guarantees that ethnic or religious minorities will be protected under your rule. This is a deal breaker for the EU. 3. Inviolability of frontiers, borders. This is where the military comrades often get into trouble. No forceful changes. The EU will only recognize you if you pledge not to change borders by force. Good neighbor policy. You must commit to settling all territorial disputes through peaceful negotiation or the International Court of Justice, ICJ. 4. Acceptance of international obligations. The EU wants to know that you won't be a rogue state. Disarmament. You must commit to all existing nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament treaties. Debt and treaties. You must agree to take over the international legal responsibilities, and often the debts, of the previous regime. How the EU evaluates a peaceful declaration. EU criteria. What they look for in your declaration. Commitment to peace. Does the declaration explicitly renounce violence as a tool for political change? Institutional readiness. Does the government in exile have a shadow cabinet, ready to work with EU diplomats? Regional stability. Will recognizing you help end a war, or will it start a new one with your neighbors? Unity of command. Can the civilian leaders prove they control the military wing, the comrades? The Kosovo and Palestine lesson. The EU often struggles with unanimity. For a group to get full EU recognition, all member states must agree. If your military comrades are still fighting, countries like Spain, Greece, or Romania, who fear their own separatist movements, will likely veto your recognition to avoid setting a rebel precedent. A peaceful declaration is the only way to convince these skeptical EU members that you are a legitimate partner and not a security threat. Summary for your leaders. To get the EU on your side, your declaration must sound less like a battle cry and more like a constitution. The more you talk about human rights and the less you talk about military victory, the faster the EU will open its doors. Would you like me to help you draft a compliance statement that addresses these specific EU criteria for your group?
I hope you are listening. Mazi, if I were you, I have done the needful. I thought he will repent by what we are doing, but when he did not, I don't have time to address them. I have just do the needful. I don't have time to waste. I've done so. Don't worry about those people. That is why we must focus on what we are doing. Look at what's the 21st century. Even things that will block us from recognition and things that will lead to our recognition, they are all out in the new law of 21st century. They are all in the new law of 21st century. Now, when you look at the outcome of what our people are trying to do, what the Butos or Gento are doing now, if you look at this, what will prevent us from having a new country, isn't that what they are doing? Ihe anyị na-eme now, what I'm doing bụ ife agba n'aka ga-eji enyele ihe ahụ edere ede anyị jụrụ eji eche ebe ọ dị gụọ. That is why I have my time to dig it out. That's also I am proud to ask Biafra that the only thing that is preventing more of this job is the gadget I'm looking for, because I want the best gadget for this job. That is only what is preventing me. There is more to do. There is more to do. But the research is not even going fast because of what I used to do the research. Once the gadget I am looking for comes, then all the most hidden truth we pull out without wasting time. If I can use a smartphone to do this, I can do more than that. When I got the only thing I know that will give me what I want. When I know the gadget that will give me what I want. Once that gadget is in my hand, we don't need to go and talk to any Oswimi or those who refuse to accept the declaration. They will be hearing it time without number. That is when I will be cutting the message for 5 minutes to 2 minutes. It will be flying everywhere. So they will hear by force. You know that someone has said that we will force our enemies to Biafra. We will force them to understand the 21st century law. And we are not going to move away from this 21st century law. We bring in the branches of it. The more we open, the more we bring more. There is no replying to this guy. I have blocked him. I don't have time to address such a people. Because we have talked a length to issue of sovereignty and whatever they are claiming. I know who is that. That is Don Pedro. That is Don Pedro. I know him. That's always his comment. Someone who never believed in Biafra, who believed in Peter Obi. So don't mind these people. The world has moved. Look at him now. He changed another names. That's one who writes, I have the record broadcast in which Tokongozo Arabes is calling Butozo and Gentle the Yahoo criminals. That is what international law called them. Continue changing them, I will continue blocking you. Because I know you very well. Be coming. Yes. So bring another name and come. Change another name. I am waiting. So when you look at what the law is saying, Ngozi Arabese did not call them criminal, but the international law has called them, and their actions are calling them the names, not Ngozi Arabese. Because the world has moved. Why can't you move? The world has moved. Why can't we do what? Why can't you? Because the real people of the Biafran has moved with the international law of the 21st century. The time you have to write junk, you have used that time to type on your phone. Must a new country have a military before they will get international recognition? Sorry. Just type it on your phone. The Google will not give you details well because of I have what I used to get all the details of what I want. Listen again. Things that can stop our recognition. Where is it going to come? From military wing. Listen, what they ask us to avoid so we can be able to achieve our recognition.
To show the criteria for recognition, we have to look at the 1991 EU guidelines, which are still the foundation for EU policy today, and the updated 21st century norms that have been added to them. The European Union has moved far beyond the old 1930s rules of who has the most land. Today, the EU uses recognition as a tool to promote democracy and stability. If your government in exile makes a peaceful declaration, the EU will judge you against these specific criteria. 1. The democratic basis requirement. The EU will not recognize a strongman or a military group that simply claims to be in charge. Mandate. You must prove you have the support of the people through a referendum, previous elections, or a broad coalition of civil society. Pluralism. You must show that your new government includes different ethnic, religious, and political groups, not just your own military comrades. 2. Respect for the rule of law. The EU is a legal union, and they expect new nations to be the same. Human rights. You must formally adopt the European Convention on Human Rights, or the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Minority rights. You must provide specific legal guarantees that ethnic or religious minorities will be protected under your rule. This is a deal breaker for the EU. 3. Inviolability of frontiers, borders. This is where the military comrades often get into trouble. No forceful changes. The EU will only recognize
where the commanders get in trouble, where the militaries, triple generals get in trouble. This is where the military commanders often get into trouble. Listen to that clearly.
You if you pledge not to change borders by force. Good neighbor policy. You must commit to settling all territorial disputes through peaceful negotiation or the International Court of Justice, ICJ. 4. Acceptance of international obligations. The EU wants to know that you won't be a rogue state. Disarmament. You must commit to all existing nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament treaties. Debt and treaties. You must agree to take over the international legal responsibilities, and often the debts, of the previous regime. How the EU evaluates a peaceful declaration. EU criteria. What they look for in your declaration. Commitment to peace. Does the declaration explicitly renounce violence as a tool for political change? Institutional readiness. Does the government in exile have a shadow cabinet ready to work with EU diplomats? Regional stability. Will recognizing you help end a war, or will it start a new one with your neighbors? Unity of command. Can the civilian leaders prove they control the military wing, the comrades? The Kosovo and Palestine lesson. The EU often struggles with unanimity. For a group to get full EU recognition, all member states must agree. If your military comrades are still fighting, countries like Spain, Greece, or Romania, who fear their own separatist movements, will likely veto your recognition to avoid setting a rebel precedent. A peaceful declaration is the only way to convince these skeptical EU members that you are a legitimate partner and not a security threat. Summary for your leaders. To get the EU on your side, your declaration must sound less like a battle cry and more like a constitution. The more you talk about human rights and the less you talk about military victory, the faster the EU will open its doors. Would you like me to help you draft a compliance statement that addresses these specific EU criteria for your group?
I hope you are listening. It's not by, and I am very, very happy that our DPA maintained this issue of talking about human rights more than talking about military. And they said here that your government must be talking about human rights more than the way they talk about military. That is what our DPM is doing. That is what she's doing, as you can see. And that is why you know who is on the right track. That is how you understand it perfectly. Now, we play, we pause, we do small analysis to that, to our people to understand it very deeply in a common sense. Please. Now, we start.
To show the criteria for recognition, we have to look at the 1991 EU guidelines, which are still the foundation for EU policy today, and the updated 21st century norms that have been added to them.
Are you hearing it? To show the criteria for recognition, we have to look at the 1991 EU guidelines, which are still the foundation of the EU policy today, and the updates 21st century norms that has been added to them. They added more things to the existing protocol. And that is why they call it what? A new century, a new 21st century law that leads to what? Recognition. Now, on this criteria, for us to have recognition, do you ever heard that military must be the first thing? Do you hear that? Do you ever hear here that military force is the first thing to achieve recognition? Maybe if you're not understanding it clearly, wait for my WhatsApp group where I uploaded all these documents. Go to my S handle, Read Biafra TV, where I upload all these documents also, so you can read and understand. There is more things to do on the international global stage for us to achieve our recognition. Tell me, what gives us recognition? Is it not the best solution to our problem? Now there is a new law that they have moved away from military commanders to be the one that because of their actions that you become a nation, you become a member of the UN. The world has moved away from that on the guidelines of the EU of 1991 to modern days law, including the 21st century, adding up to them, make everything easy for us, give you two ways. This way recognition, this way to deny recognition. And what happened in all, the easiest way is what? To accept what? Peaceful declaration.
European Union has moved far beyond the old 1930s rules of who has...
Are you hearing it? The European Union has moved far beyond the old 1930 rules of who has the most land, who control the most land through military. The European Union have moved far beyond the old 1930 rules of who have the most land, who control most land. Hey, you claim you declare sovereignty, and the Nigerian government is in our territory, clean our people. Hear it here. Hear it, and drop your hatred, your envy, your jealousness about Ngozi Orebeze could not change this law to favor you. Rather, the law will favor Ngozi Orebeze, like the way the law is being favoring our DPM, Dr. Ngozi Orebeze, the Deputy Prime Minister. Whether you like it or not, the world are not reasoning like you. The world are not reasoning like you. And your reasoning can never be used to judge the movement that we are into. Let's continue. Today, the EU use recognition as a tool to promote democracy and stability. A peaceful declaration to promote democracy and stability. If your government in exile makes a peaceful declaration, the EU will judge you against this specific criteria. After our real declaration, there is things that the world is going to use. There are things that the EU, UN are going to use to judge us. What are those things? Now, listen.
The most land. Today, the EU uses recognition as a tool to promote democracy and stability. If your government in exile makes a peaceful declaration, the EU will judge you against these specific criteria. 1. The democratic basis requirement. The EU will not recognize a strongman or a military group that simply claims to be in charge.
I hope you are listening. What do we use to judge us or to deny us? Under these UN laws also, this 21st century said, a time will come when a government in exile must distance themselves from any military commander who claims that he's in charge. That the time will come when they will do what? That the exile government will do what? Distance themselves from any group who claiming they are fighting. These are the things that the world have asked our DPM to do already. There has been a mother, she's having pity to know if they can repent. Now, the EU will not recognize a strong man or a military group that simply claim to be in charge. The gentle will come and tell you, we are here, we are in charge. All those things has been expired. The world has walked away from that. The world are no longer using that in this 21st century. The world has proven to every reasonable beyond doubt that we don't believe in a military power anymore. That we only believe in a peaceful declaration. We don't believe in a strong man. UN, EU, AU, Donald Trump, or Netanyahu did not believe in a strong man. Rather, they believe in what? A peaceful declaration.
Mandate. You must prove you have the support of the people through a referendum, previous elections, or a broad coalition of civil society.
Remember the word, previous elections. Before our peaceful real declaration, we have conducted our self-referendum vote with over 550 million Biafrans. Is it not true? The mandate, you must prove that you have the support of the people through a referendum. Previous elections or a border conciliation of civil society. Bishop, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Today, I asked this before our real declaration, before our peaceful real declaration, did we not first conduct self-referendum? We have. And on this mandate, we pass. Now let us continue.
You must show that your new government includes different ethnic, religious, and political groups, not just your own military comrades.
Are you hearing it? You must show that your new government, including different ethnic group, religions, and the political group, not just your own military commanders. You will not show military commanders that made up of the country. That is why you have 40 states. Some are not Igbo-speaking tribe. That is what you have to show to prove that you are what? That you are a country. That is what you prove after your peaceful declaration, that we make the EU, AU, UN to recognize you as a sovereign state. Now, on this, do you hear military here? That you must show military force. Do you hear about rather how do you hear me? They said, not just show your own military commanders. You don't have to come and show military commanders. What is that? I don't know when Chamaka BGC. Some of our people are far from the reality, but it's because of for the meantime. I don't know this until I come across 2025 when I start my research to find out by myself after our declaration. They are declaring Biafra. I am looking for to understand if this declaration, do we need it or do we need military? After declaration, I found out I need to declare peaceful declaration first before military.
Two, respect for the rule of law. The EU is a legal union, and they expect new nations to be the same. Human rights.
I hope you respect for the rule of laws. You are calling Donald Trump. You are calling Netanyahu. You are calling leaders of conscience, leaders of thought, leaders of conscience, leaders of thought. Donald Trump, Netanyahu, they all believe in the rule of law. And the rule of law says that you should not claim that you are in charge of the new territory. That you are not going to be commanding the citizens. That you are not supposed to be teaching memos and orders out to the people. That is what the law is all about. The EU is a legal union, whether they like it or not. And they expect new nation to be the same. They expect what? New nation. They know that a new nation will emerge through a peaceful declaration. And today, the new nation has emerged, which is what? United States of Biafra were declared. It is the new nation that has emerged. And we must abide by the laws of the world, of this UN, EU, that they said they are legal union. Legal. Not military force. You must do what? Human rights.
You must formally adopt the European Convention on Human Rights, or the UN Declaration of Human Rights.
Yes, so USB has adopted what? European Convention of Human Rights. Are we not? We have done that. So on this one, we pass. On the issue of military, we pass. On the issue of the mandate, we passed. For you to see that those criteria that will deny us, the government is passing there. Those that are on the comments who don't understand what it takes are those commenting that bullshit. That are commenting what they don't understand what it simply means.
Minority rights. You must provide specific legal guarantees that ethnic or religious minorities will be protected under your rule. This is a deal breaker for the EU.
Are you hearing it? Minority rights. You must prove specific law granted that the ethnic or regions minority will be protected under your rule. This is a deal. This is a deal breaker for the EU. Are you listening? This is it. And that is what our USB is doing. Try to protect all the citizens of Biafra, giving the world notice of what the legitimate governors are doing in our territory.
Inviolability of frontiers, borders. This is where the military comrades often get into trouble. No forceful changes.
No forceful changes. Military. No what? Forceful changes. Why are you forcing people to accept what they're not supposed to accept? What is your problem? For how long do you want to be inside bush? Can't you make one or two research? Ask yourself, how can a liberation army help help to get a vision for a new country that was declared peacefully? Can you do that and find an answer? Which that's the program I'll give to you tomorrow.
EU will only recognize you if you pledge not to change borders by force.
Are you hearing? Oh, Ngozi is there. Nigerian government are occupying every of our territory. The EU said that the EU will only recognize you if you pledge not to change borders by force. That is why, like you said, she is begging Nigeria to leave our territory. And that is what the UN, EU, AU of this 21st century, that is what their law is all about. That is what their law is all about. These are what the law is all about, not the other way around.
Good neighbor policy. You must commit to settling all territorial disputes through peaceful negotiation or the International Court of Justice, ICJ. 4.
I hope you are listening. What it takes to have a new nation, what it takes for us to get recognition is what they are giving to us. That is do's and don'ts. We must make a good, nice neighbor policy. You must commit to settle all territory disputes through a peaceful negotiation or international court of justice. Now that our DPM is calling, now the government of USB is calling Nigeria to leave, and that is what is called a peaceful negotiation, calling them, giving document to leave our land, sending everything about us. When they refuse in the due time, what will happen? We will drag them into International Court of Justice, ICJ. They did not say Ngozi should order ministry to vermouth Nigerian government. Listen now.
Acceptance of international obligations. The EU wants to know that you won't be a rogue state. Disarmament. You must commit to all existing nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament treaties. Dead and treaties. You must
be armed. You don't have to be throwing guns, dancing with it. It's how strong you are. The world has moved away from that. That is what the world says no to it.
Agree to take over the international legal responsibilities, and often the debts, of the previous regime. How the EU evaluates a peaceful declaration. EU criteria. What they look for in your declaration. Commitment to peace. Does the declaration explicitly renounce violence?
What they are looking for your declaration. Commitment of peace. Do they say commitment of military? They did not say commitment of military. Rather, they said commitment of what? Peace. In all ratification.
As a tool for political change. Institutional readiness. Does the government in exile have a shadow cabinet ready to work with EU diplomats? Regional stability. Will recognizing you help end a war, or will it start a new one with your neighbors? Unity of command. Can the civilian leaders prove they control the military wing, the comrades? The Kosovo.
Do you hear it here? That the civilian that made declaration government must control the military, not the military to come to control the government. It depends on the government to control the military, not the military to come and control the government. Listen to the new law. The government must give order to the military, not the military to come and issue order. That's why I ask you, what you are doing, that you're claiming you're fighting for Biafra, which example, where are you getting it from? Where, how? And where has it happened before? Now listen to this, Kosovo.
And Palestine lesson. The EU often struggles with unanimity. For a group to get full EU recognition, all member states must agree. If your military comrades are still fighting,
the EU often struggling with ultimatum. For a group to get fully EU recognition, all member states must agree. You see that it's not only us. Others will agree to do that. and we should agree, because once we are continuously presenting a peaceful atmosphere, the world listens to us.
Countries like Spain, Greece, or Romania, who fear their own separatist movements, will likely veto your recognition to avoid setting a rebel precedent.
Are you hearing it? Now they give us an example of countries that are, in Spain, Catalina is fighting to exit from Spain. And they said that if this 21st century, if EU or AU or UN organize any military power as a country, that is going to trigger the people that want to exit from Romania and Spain for them to continue fighting and believing that through war, they will get it. The world have strategies of how they want to maintain the peace. So, but they did not stop a new country to move out, but they must maintain these criteria. And this criteria is what is going to give you the international recognition. My people, the truth is bitter. The truth, we pull out, we are proud and bring it down. It's only those who refuse to remove their proud are those who remain where they are. The world are moving forward and we are backward. Hoping for military is backward.
Peaceful declaration is the only way to convince these skeptical EU members that you are a legitimate partner and not a security threat.
I hope you are listening. A peaceful declaration is the only way to convince the EU members that you are a legitimate partner and not a security threat. Only a peaceful declaration. Chai, thank you so much. Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are not a security threat, rather, we believe in the ideology of peaceful declaration, and that is what we did in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, November 29, 2024. This is where we are calling on the world to organize us so that Nigeria can leave our territory. Because you said that you don't want us to use force and change the borders. You don't want us to use force and remove Nigeria. Now help us to remove them through the recognition.
Summary for your leaders. To get the EU on your side, your declaration must sound less like a battle cry and more like a constitution. The more you talk about...
I hope you listen to that. To get the EU on your side, your declaration must sound like a battle cry and more like a constitution. Are you hearing it? Constitution. Legal is the only way out, not the other way around.
Human rights, and the less you talk about military victory, the faster the EU will open its doors. Would you like me to help you draft a compliance statement that addresses these specific EU criteria for your group?
I hope you heard it clearly. So in this summary, the more you talk about human rights and the lesser you talk about military victory, the more the government talk about human rights, not about military, is when the EU, UN, AU will open its doors for you. Do they say, talk about military, push military, push. It's not what the world wants in this 21st century. Whether they like it or not, this is what they want. If you want Biafra as a sovereign, it's a full nation. If you want Biafra as a full nation, the world said that our DPM should be talking about the world, about human rights. And the lesser you talk about military victory, the lesser we talk about the military. It's the only thing the world wants us to talk is about human rights. That is why we are letting the world to know that Biafras are facing inhuman treatment, abuse of rights, marginalization, torturing, and this ongoing genocide, kidnapping, disappearance of our people. These are the part of the human rights that the government wants us to talk so they can be able to open the door for us. Do they say you must talk about military? Do they say you must fund the military first? That's not what they said. So please, in this second session, that is how we come to an end of the program. So we're going to, as we're playing it to refresh our mind, I want you, if you want to call us, you are free to call our number +97 3360 51 Please, if you want to call, as we are playing to refresh our mind, as we are closing the program, so please, I think we have done a little bit the small thing we have to give to the Bafraan people. Please manage it because of our time. We want to do more than this, but the time is coming. So I want to thank you for being here. We must continue on what we are doing. So I will start from number 1 session to number 2. As I'm playing, if any phone call comes in, I will pause pick the call before I finish it up. So pay attention.
The shift toward peaceful declarations and away from military force.
Please remember to like and share the program. Subscribe on the YouTube page. Subscribe, please, if you never do that.
Isn't just a trend. It is a fundamental redesign of how the world works in the 21st century. The UN, EU, and AU changed their approach because they realized that in a globalized world, military victory does not create a stable country. It only creates a failed state that hurts everyone. Here is why the world powers changed the laws of becoming a new nation. 1. The shift from might to right, R2P. In the 20th century, if you could hold land, you were a state. But after the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica in the 1990s, the UN adopted a new doctrine in 2005 called the Responsibility to Protect, R2P. The new rule, sovereignty is no longer a right, it is a responsibility. The impact. If a group takes power by force, the international community assumes they will rule by force. A peaceful declaration is the only way to prove you intend to protect your people, rather than just control them. 2. The anti-coup norm, the AU's Lome Declaration. The African Union, AU, led the world in this change. In 2000, they adopted the Lome Declaration, which strictly forbids unconstitutional changes of government. Why? Military coups and rebel takeovers caused decades of poverty in Africa.
Yes, so one Dangozi, Adadobi. Good afternoon from here. Thank you so much.
Because my age tomorrow today.
Thank you.
So
The voice is okay.
exam.
Okay.
Ekenekwa m no Biafra. Ekenekwa m ezigbo nwanne m ekene no.
Yes, so.
Oge mbido wee mame n'ala anyị oge nwanne m nwoke bụ Odogwu.
Odogwu Enugu. Okay.
Odogwu, yes. So nege no, actually ekene gị special because now only one makaina for our the history of the whole world. Or the easy. Yeah, Ilena your sleep. Biafra government don't buy your sleep. Eh?
Yes,
Biafra don't buy your sleep. We don't buy your sleep. For good. The second now, the second. For the easy. You see, the Mother Lake, all Biafras. You know, no, today. Ndị ma na ihe mmegbu Naịjirịa na-emegbu ụmụ ha na ọ dịghị ha ama n'obi. Daalụ hinne, daalụ jisi n'ike. Ọ fọrọ inwe obere ka anyị nata ozi obodo anyị. So nkọmere na-ekene Nnamdi. Awa onye ndu na-ekenekwa awa PM. Na-ekenekwa Dr. Ngozi Obianọ na kabinet ya. Na-ekenekwa all the measures. Jisi n'ike. And the CK become a one. You see, sometimes in my last time, you see, mother, we are not here to bash anybody. It's true, we are not here to bash, I'm not bashing anybody, but I am upset. I'm in my mind. I'm so sad now, if I hear it, even the room. Because now, even now, Ada ono that old woman with the Shamaka. Actually, how to do Hacho or Dima Biafra or Hacho or Dinja Biafra. Ataka Biafra, because when I make the paper now see where to go that on one name on one name as a change. Excuse me. Excuse me, one has a change. So on a hand, things in this history now, may teach included in more about the law of the EU, about the law of Geneva, about the law of every law on one hand. Either the two Kayalani Ajanagari, but I need to adjust now my Ajanagari. Our GPM goes with this law, goes with in short way, what way among all those people men on the ground, Yahoo, all those people. That Francis, see, because only Abraham will lose. Lesoko na boya. Okuno ile our brother na go sisila anya. I thank God. That's why I'm Putakwa. Sometimes I use English so in the total to message international that we are not from them. All those ones they're labor, they're serving to us. They're not working for us. You see, this is why I did it. I said, Gambia, I'm just not to know phone.
Yeah.
He said our noble governor this thing.
Number.
Account number.
Sorry, sorry, I will never the program. I'll just do it immediately. Just give me a flash on my number. Then can we send the other videos, Bobiko? Just men flashing after the program. Can we send the videos? Okay. Thank you. Yes, we have a missed call. And we have to return the call back, as we normally do. Remember, number to call remains +97336051337.
Hello?
Yeah, my brother. Good afternoon
Hello,
from here. You're welcome to the program. Yes.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome, brother. You're welcome.
Yeah, this is your God. God is with me from New City.
Okay, brother. You're welcome.
Okay. I want to see. Oh yeah, in a try. If in the middle, anya. In a try. See. God bless you all.
Bless you too.
So I wanna Holland na for call on. And I feel you name. So I wanna Holland. So someone like me. I don't believe na matutu zo mo gentle na fight for Biafra. Ona asara na ma konda. I want to go ni fenda. That like I'm fighting for their pocket. I'm fighting for Biafra. Ndị na-eje mgbe ikpe ana eje ma ife aga n'afọ m ife ndị nọ saịdị be ha ndị bụ ndị saịdị ebe a mụ na ha magasị aka ya akọ ndị a ndị bụ ndị ọka igwe so ndị aka ya akọ ife ndị a na-eme na be ha ife ndị a na-eme na be ha ọkwa ife na-ekwe onye ya fọ line na nke onye fọ line bụ nke achọ ka ọnụ fụ patago na you are not fighting for Biafra, you are not fighting for their pocket, you are working for their pocket. You are not fighting. I just wear Biafra, never coverage. So how can I come with government? Like government, I might find it. You could not try so much.
Thank you. The one that on the homeland, the one that try. You people are the one that try highest because sitting at home and all this is not easy. So in fact, because of you in the homeland, that is why we are doing much. That is why we need to do more. That is why we murder our sleep to make sure that we move this government and help them to educate myself and also the Biafran people to know the right thing to do. That is the pure truth. I encourage all of you to stand strong. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I believe when I even say I believe when I recognize our ID. If all of us, you know, just I take over our territory.
That is how it starts.
Whatever
that is how government starts.
Our ID.
Yes.
That is it. Onya na abroad deport. Onya deport to me.
Onya deport to me, my brother. Yes, so because with Biafra ID card, nobody can deport you to Nigeria. With Biafra ID card, in any country, nobody will deport you. Nobody.
Loud
and clear.
Big abroad.
Yes.
I go more Jordan, Arab country. I've lived in Jordan, Arab country, for more 3 years. If I mean you wanna tell about with Nigerian passport,
that is it.
With Nigerian passport, they can never give you. The Kenya, Togo, Burkina Faso, working permits. This is tourist visa where they are.
Yes.
With your permit, as a Nigerian passport, with any documents. And they give you an award, they will deport you immediately. And they go and they put the same day you flight to. Nigeria embassy don't care about it. They don't care about the behind. They don't care. They don't care. That's why India back Nigeria again. Even our ID card up to then. Even our 2017, 2018, 2019. Even our ID available then. I will not come back here because you want to know, but they take this. You know what is what
yes.
So not I have to look for another way.
Yes. Yes.
So open our ID. I did go to then. I scared by Egypt to Egypt.
Exactly.
Because our ID I draw then. I want the declaration there, and we have to wear about. And say about Jersey and Apple for agent, women for them, but it's had to make.
Sorry, my brother. Biafra, that is why we are fighting to come back home. That is why we are fighting to come back home. Biafra, we end all this. We want to come back home because nothing from that country got civilized more than Biafran people. I never see that country.
Yeah, sure.
No, I never see it.
I want my completely take over our territory. Yeah, back our heaven.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Back our heaven. We have everything to make it to be like heaven.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my brother. You're welcome. Thank you. Our recognition must be is on the way. It's on the right hand of us. So we are going to achieve it very soon.
Yes.
Let us continue pushing hard. Is no people. At the end of it, can anywhere on a CK. So can you see any? Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. Bye bye.
Yeah. That is our people from homeland. They still believe keeping our sister at home life. They keep our sister at home life. They are not panicking. They are not panicking. They stand on the mandate. They believe that this USB is the only solution. They believe in that. So let us continue on our program as we are drawing close to end. Let us, if any call comes in, like I said, we will take as we are playing the last document that we have today until we come back again tomorrow.
You're automatically suspended from the Union. The result, this forced liberation movements to prioritize peaceful transitions and governments in exile over direct...
I do hear that thing, that this by force military is to paralyze the movement that it will not allow the movement to transition into recognition. That is where that word comes. If they want to make Biafra to become a failed state for the second time.
Military junta-style rule. 3. Economic interdependence. In the 21st century, a country cannot survive alone. It needs access to the internet, global banking, SWIFT, and international trade. The weaponization of recognition. World powers realized they don't need to send armies to stop a rebel group. They just need to refuse to recognize their signature. Without a peaceful declaration, a new nation cannot get a country code for phones, an ISO code for its currency, or a seat at the IMF. Military force captures the dirt, but a peaceful declaration captures the data and the dollars. Comparison: old versus new recognition. Feature: 20th century, military focus. 21st century, political focus. Main goal: control of the capital city. International legal legitimacy. Primary tool: guerrilla warfare/tanks. Peace declarations, UN lobbying. Worldview: victory is fact. Democracy is requirement. Fate of rebels, new government. 4.
Do you hear that? When you try to force that you are fighting after a peaceful declaration, they will level you what? Terrorists, rebels, spoiler, criminals, not to go to REDESIGN. This is what the 21st century law calls any military force after a peaceful declaration. You still claim you are fighting. Look at what the law calls you. Look at what's the name you are calling Donald Trump, Netanyahu. This is what they believe on.
Avoiding contagion. World powers fear that if they recognize a group that used force, it will encourage every other minority group in the world to start a war to get their own country. By requiring a peaceful declaration and a negotiated settlement, like in South Sudan or Montenegro, the UN ensures that the breakup of a country is orderly and doesn't crash the global stock markets or cause a massive refugee crisis. Summary: why the signature won. The world powers changed the law because war is expensive for the global economy. A military victory creates a black hole, where aid money disappears. A peaceful declaration creates a partner who can pay back loans and trade resources. Would you like me to show you the specific criteria for recognition that the EU uses today when a new group makes a peaceful declaration?
I hope you have listened to it all. You have heard the 21st century law. This 21st century law was adopted from the part of the EU guideline law 1991 as amended in 2000/2005. They amended this law 3 times to suit the movement, the life, the condition, the peace of the world in the 21st century. After a peaceful declaration, if any military force claims that he's fighting for a freedom, the world may label this group military terrorist, spoilers, insurgency, and rebel. It's not Ngozi Orebeze. It's the law that put them on that stage. Even our DPM is keeping quiet enough. She's having mess in on her mind. Because the law says after declaration, if the military officers refuses to adhere to obey the peaceful declaration, that the Israel government has to distance themselves from the military for the world not to distance themselves from the Israel government. Because countries like Spain, Romania, and other countries have those who are fighting to live, and they will argue in the world stage. If you give this military force recognition, those in our area will start fighting, and everywhere will be war problem, and the world will say no to that. You had it here clearly. So it simply means that we must obey the 21st century after our declaration. Let me tell you, it takes a whole America 1 year and 6 months after their declaration that was being signed by 56 continental congressmen. Only 56 signed them. 548 signed that they don't want America as a country. What happens? When recognition comes from the first country that ever recognized America is Morocco from Africa. After the recognition from Morocco, France recognized America as a country. But look at the world power today. Where is France? Where is America? That is what will happen in Africa, because Biafra will supersede every country in Africa to bring peace in Africa, in the world at large. Listen to the closing rules. Yeah, we have a caller. Hello. Hello, Mazi.
Yes, hello, good afternoon from here.
Good afternoon. For a long time, where have you been? Your number is offline.
Sorry?
Your number is offline. I've been trying to check on you. I couldn't get you online.
Okay, it's the network. I am not offline actually. Maybe it's the network.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
okay.
How are you doing, my brother?
We are here.
Okay. Are you still online or you have closed the program?
I'm online. We are rounding up.
All right. Thank you so much. Am I permitted to
fire down?
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I am a citizen of the United States of Biafra. I am a citizen of the United States of Biafra. I am a citizen of the United States of Biafra. I am a citizen of the United States of Biafra. Muhammad Kandi, the president of unit.
Your network. That is the problem. For over how many days now, I've been looking at him online. I couldn't reach him. With the network not came. If he calls back, we're going to pick, because we are still on the level of closing the programs. Franklin Okoye, thank you. So I think I'm able to tell you, thank you so much. I'm able to tell you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
You have to look at the 1991 EU guidelines, which are still the foundation for EU policy today, and the updated 21st century norms that have been added to them. The European Union has moved far beyond the old 1930s rules of who has the most land. Today, the EU uses recognition as a tool to promote democracy and stability. If your government in exile makes a peaceful declaration, the EU will judge you against these specific criteria. 1. The democratic basis requirement. The EU will not recognize a strongman or a military group that simply claims to be in charge. Mandate. You must prove you have the support of the people through a referendum, previous elections, or a broad coalition of civil society. Pluralism. You must show that your new government includes different ethnic, religious, and political groups, not just your own military comrades. 2. Respect for the rule of law. The EU is a legal union, and they expect new nations to be the same. Human rights. You must formally adopt the European Convention on Human Rights, or the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Minority rights. You must provide specific legal guarantees that ethnic or religious minorities will be protected under your rule. This is a deal breaker for the EU. 3. Inviolability of frontiers. Borders. This is where the military comrades often get into trouble. No forceful changes. The EU will only recognize you if you pledge not to change borders by force. Good neighbor policy. You must commit to settling all territorial disputes through peaceful negotiation or the International Court of Justice, ICJ. 4. Acceptance of international obligations. The EU wants to know that you won't be a rogue state. Disarmament. You must commit to all existing nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament treaties. Debt and treaties. You must agree to take over the international legal responsibilities, and often the debts, of the previous regime. How the EU evaluates a peaceful declaration. EU criteria. What they look for in your declaration. Commitment to peace. Does the declaration explicitly renounce violence as a tool for political change? Institutional readiness. Does the government in exile have a shadow cabinet, ready to work with EU diplomats? Regional stability. Will recognizing you help end a war, or will it start a new one with your neighbors? Unity of command. Can the civilian leaders prove they control the military wing, the comrades? The Kosovo and Palestine lesson. The EU often struggles with unanimity. For a group to get full EU recognition, all member states must agree. If your military comrades are still fighting, countries like Spain, Greece, or Romania, who fear their own separatist movements, will likely veto your recognition to avoid setting a rebel precedent. A peaceful declaration is the only way to convince these skeptical EU members that you are a legitimate partner and not a security threat. Summary for your leaders. To get the EU on your side, your declaration must sound less like a battle cry and more like a constitution. The more you talk about human rights and the less you talk about military victory, the faster the EU will open its doors. Would you like me to help you drop?
I hope you listen what will fascinate EU, UN, AU to open their doors for us. That the US government must talk about human rights more than talking about military. And this is where US government is doing today. This is what they are doing today. It's not about what I think. It's not about what I see. That is why I told you, I am not here to do what I think. I am here to do what the nation I want us to do. Honestly, that is what gives me joy, because when I look at what USB is doing and put it in the law of the international community, I see pop and plain that we are on the right track. The government is doing 100% right for us how Biafra as our own nation. Now, when you listen to such a thing, you give the government accolades, you give them kudos because they deserve it. The government is doing absolutely what will take us home. Doreen, I got to your question, but not everything you make in the open place. That's why I said if you can just send me hi on my WhatsApp, then I will give you the details of the question you ask. My WhatsApp number remains +97 33 60 51 337. That is my WhatsApp number. Again, +9 7 33 60 51 337. Then I will answer the question you asked me. So please, the people of USB, you can have it clearly. Power of a new country does not belong on the military. Rather, it belongs to the government that makes declaration. Democracy, not autocracy. Military is what? Autocracy. And you had it here that the biggest man in the room is no longer that man with the biggest gun. Rather, it is a man on the legal or legitimacy of the new country is the one with the biggest power. This is what the world wants from us. They want, let me ask us this question. If you are flying our DPMS handle, flying addressing Biafrans at time of fundraising, what are you hearing? It's not about the human right. And the word said that the government in exile must talk about, they have to talk more on the issue of the human rights, lesser on a military side, which is what? Shows you that the power is not from the military. That now, do you know that also showing our military weapons, social media can make the world to abandon and say that the world, that this country that is coming is a violence that will create more war into the world and there will be no peace. And what said, we have run away from such thing that we don't need it, my people. USB, carry go. I thank you all for being here. Until we come back the same time again tomorrow, check on our notification. Just turn your notification on and subscribe, like and share anytime you watch this program to get our people. That is what we want to do. So please, yes, my brother, that is it. We must apply since we do. Not just, even at that, not just doing something. Ask what you are doing. Where has it happened? Now they give us example why they changed the war because of the genocide happened in Rwanda. They also give you the law why the world UN refused to recognize countries like Kosovo and Palestine. Why? Because of violence. Because of the military action. Is it what you want? Please, I want peaceful declaration, which is the soft way of having a new nation. That's what I want. So thank you so much for being here today. May Him continue to protect us, give us more strength to do more. May He guide us. I thank you all for being here. My people, one love. Until we meet again tomorrow at the same time. Our topic, our mission is issue of declaration and the military. We are going to bring in more and more and more to educate myself and also give the Biafran people a little thing I think I can give through research. That's why I said when the instruments I am waiting for, the gadget is here, then we will see those things that they refuse to open for us to see, because there is some secret document that the world refused to open at this that we are into, but we must open it, whether they like it or not. We must open it. We must. So I thank you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.